Yo, I'm about to go in. We about to go live in 15. Yeah, check me out. I'm about to spit these bars. I don't know if y'all ready for our intro. All right, here I go. Yo.
What's up, man? What's going on?
Oh, man, I was about to get in my hot 16 real quick, but the show started, so I got to go ahead and get professional one time on it real quick. You know what I mean?
Are you about to drop the bars on them, man?
Man, I almost did. Hey, wait, can I drop this though?
Go ahead and drop it, man. I see the hat, man. Go ahead and drop it, man.
Shout out to the purple and gold today. You know what I'm saying? I woke up and God was like, yo, today's a beautiful day. And I was like, God, why? He was like, go to Bleacher Report. I was like, okay, cool. Let me go on Bleacher Report real quick. And I went to Bleacher Report, and guess what I saw? My God. AD for 5 years, baby. You heard me? LeBron James for 3 more until Bronny come out. Oh, that purple and gold look good. Hey, you know what they say royal colors are? What are the royal colors? You know what the royal colors are, Quay?
It's supposed to be purple and gold, ain't it?
Boy, you're smart. That boy over there smart. He's smart. You see? What colors them Lakers? What colors them Lakers one time? That royal color. You know what I mean? That purple and gold. You know what I'm saying?
Purple and gold, man. I'm gonna give you props, man.
The streets and the gate is gonna be murdered made of that gold. You know what I mean?
For sure. So, man, let me welcome everybody to the show, man. So, everybody, welcome to the show. This is Look in the Mirror, the Conversation. I'm one of your co-hosts, Quay Price. And we have your second co-host over there. Why don't you introduce yourself, King?
Yo, my name is King Jacquel Martin, co-host of the show with this amazing, talented young gentleman that I'm sitting next to, light-skinned, don't care, Quay Price. You know what I'm saying? The boy come in with a brand new tie. He done wear off Steve Harvey on Black Friday. You know what I'm saying? He probably got that tie on Cyber Monday. But just know this, he stay clean, he stay ready, he stay with the fresh edge up before every show. You'll never catch him slipping. You know what I mean? He got that sporting waves grease in his head, or that Dax, or that, you know what I mean? With the cap laid down, he got the pink lotion waves going on. You know what I'm saying? But we happy to have the family here. We happy to have y'all join us for this amazing topic. Clay, what we talking about today, man?
We go hold on. We working our way there. Shout out to everybody in the comments, but I got to give your roses, man. So I heard some news about you, man.
What you hear, man? They talking about me in these streets.
Man, somebody told me your new name was International Los.
I'm international. How I go international? Talk to me.
Man, so I heard somebody got tied into a film festival international, man. You're gonna have to break it down for the guests, man. Tell us what happened, man.
Well, first and foremost, man, International King, we in the building. I want to shout out everybody. I don't know if you guys have watched their previous shows before, but I had cast and crew on. I'm definitely going to do another show with the rest of the cast and crew to make sure I give all of them their roses while they're alive. So first and foremost, I properly want to thank everyone that was on my short film called Look in the Mirror, called A War on Friendly Grounds. Shout out to the directors. Shout out to the actors. Shout out to New York Film Academy for blessing me. Shout out to Baron Brown for the training. You know what I mean? To be able to open up these doors of opportunity. So I wrote this book about something that happened to me in real life. You guys can check out the book. It's on Amazon. You can go to the website, awarnfriendlygrounds.com. You can cop a book. And you can also type in on YouTube, A War on Friendly Grounds, to check out the trailer. And coming to a film festival near you soon, A War on Friendly Grounds, the short film. So, I mean, I had someone call me, Mr. Terry from Del Corral. He's an agency in New Orleans, right? And I told him that my film had just got selected to be in the Toronto Film Festival. And he said, King, have you ever just stopped and thought about what you just said? And you know, sometimes, Quay, like you be working so hard that you really don't realize the things that God is unfolding in front of you. He was like, man, the day you got beat up by the police, would you ever thought you would be in this position? To say that you have a book, to say that you have a movie, to say that it's international. He was like, man, sometimes you work so hard you don't get the chance to breathe, to see the powerful message that God is allowing you to be a part of. And I was just like, wow. He was like, I want you to go to the mirror and just smile and just say thank you. Just in that moment, and then you can get back to work. So I want to shout out to everybody who made it to today. Everybody who made it to today. Just give yourself a pat on the back. just forgive yourself for all the things that you've been through in life. Just say thank you. Just thank you for another day, because everybody didn't make it to today. So we need to reward ourselves and be happy with ourselves. So I just want to say thank you, Quay, for your friendship. Thank you for being the co-host of this show. When I called you and I was like, Quay, I got a crazy idea. And you was like, yo, I'm with it. I just want to thank you for being you. Thank you for being a mentor. Thank you for being a power couple. Thank you for being a distinguished gentleman. Thank you for being a good friend. I love you, bro. Just thank you.
No, I love you, brother. I appreciate it, man. And like I said, I see your shine popping off, man. So keep it going. Like I said, the blessings is flowing, man. So I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah, you know, we got to take it back to Bruce Lee, where I got that glow. You feel that touch. I got that glow.
You crazy, man. You crazy, man.
Just
You crazy.
just a little bit of Jesus juice dripping all off, man.
No, I ain't mad at that, man. Like I said, we gotta put it out there, man. Let's say, because the blessings is flowing. Like I said, it's a lot going on right now, man. But just to see these blessings flowing and see this momentum happening, man. Like I said, it's a blessing, man. So, like I said, congratulations to you again. Congratulations to the cast as well. Yeah, just keep growing that thing. Keep pushing forward, man. Like I said, we here, we support.
Definitely so. But now I don't only want to talk about my, you know, the film. I want to talk about Two Sons Juice and how, you know, out of Detroit, you know, there's no disrespect to Detroit, but man, it's barren. It's not a lot there. You know, it's not a lot of opportunity. So for you to go from, you know, the mud and create what you created, you know what I'm saying? You took, you know, you turned it into a diamond, bro. This is beautiful. Can you tell us about this juice right here?
For sure, yeah. Two Sons Juice Co. Like I said, this is our juice company based in Metro Detroit. All natural, cold pressed juice, no chemicals, no nonsense, no words you can't pronounce. I'm sure we've all read an ingredients package before and can't pronounce half of the words. But that's not the case with Two Sons. Everything is natural. Like I said, you know, no preservatives, no water added, none of that. Just only the good stuff in the bottle, basically. So yeah, definitely go check that out. The number 2 Sons, SONS Juice, co.com. Two Sons Juice Co.com.
Make sure y'all support that. It's a Black-owned business by Mr. Quay Price himself. Y'all support that. I mean, look, in order for Walmart, all these major corporations are only major corporations because of who we are, not because of just who they are. Because if you can have a business and it has no customers, then you really don't have no business. So we made these global corporations that we worship so much, or give all of our, you know what I'm saying, time and money to. We made that. So if we can do that for someone else, then why can't we do that for our own community and our own people and invest in our own stuff and our own stock? It's no disrespect to anyone else what they got going on. I'm just saying we just need to love on each other some more too, so that way we can become the global corporations to open up more job opportunities for our people and change our financial situation and our environments where our children grow up in, and keep some money in our community just as well. So just want to put that out there, you know.
Facts. And like I said, I'm seeing some momentum, man. You know, I'm seeing a lot of folks, you know, talking about supporting Black-owned businesses, talking to, you know, getting on, giving positive feedback about the experiences that they had at a Black-owned business as of recent. So now I'm seeing some momentum, you know, finally taking place in that arena, man. So I'm happy to see that. And like I said, shout out to everybody out there with a Black-owned business. You know, folks are turning those corners, letting those 9-to-5s go and just saying, hey, I'm about to build my own destiny and push my own destiny. And they're making it happen. So let's say shout out to everybody with a business. Shout out to everybody hustling for the family to establish that legacy, to change your family's trajectory. Shout out to you, and much respect.
Hey, I want to add this because, you know, we like to go deep sometimes on the show. And the reason why this message is so important, bro, because there's 2 different lifestyles. There's 2 different type of educations, and there's 2 different type of businesses, and there's 2 different type of educations that they teach you, right? So most people grew up and they heard this phrase: go to school, get good grades, go to college, and get a job and work for someone, right? So there's nothing wrong with that if that's what coincides your dream, or that's what fits your spirit or the frequency that you're on, right? But at the same time, are you only on that path because that's what you were taught? Because most of the time in school, they don't teach you how to own a plantation, how to own a business. And so the only difference between a business and a plantation is the name, but the structure is the same. And what I mean by that, in a business, you have a worker bee, you have a manager, you have a CEO. And on a plantation, the structure is the exact same, but the names are different. You have a slave, you have a slave driver, and you have massa. So the question is, I mean, no disrespect, but I just want you to kind of evaluate yourself. What plantation do you go to work to every single day? Google, be it McDonald's.
Right.
And what level are you on? Are you the worker bee? Are you the manager? Are you the CEO? Because all those positions and titles and names can change depending on your destiny and how you want it. And that's why Quay is over there, telling everyone, become your own entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with having a job at all. What you do is you take that hustle and use that money to start your own empire. So that way you can create your dreams and your vision, because the truth is you probably know more about your job than the person who created the whole job opportunity. Facts. And while you're working hard, they're on the beach chilling because it's the difference between, how can I say it? Being a pimp and a hoe. Sorry, shock value. You know what I'm saying? But the owner of the business is the one that's making sure that he takes care of everyone else under that umbrella. And guess what? Before you get into your pension and your retirement, he could say, you know what? Thank you. We don't need you no more. We're downsizing. What can you do about it?
Happens all the time, man. It's happening right now.
Right. So the reality, I know that might be like, dang, he's being harsh. But if we really start looking at things just from a different perspective, that different perspective might be that one little spark to motivate you, to light your flame, to become everything that you're supposed to be while you're here. Because if life is truly a dream, why are you not living your dream and you're working for someone else's dream?
Facts. Yeah, we're gonna do a show about that, man. Because that's something we definitely got to get into for the people. But let me just shout out everybody in the comments. Shout out to Tasha Willis. We see you down there. She says she's about to go get her iPad. So I'm glad she's about to tap in.
Tap.
Yeah, we also posted the link to the show. So here's the link to the panel. I said I want to see all the ladies on this show tonight, because we about to get into this. We about to get into this. So I need all the ladies to pop up on this panel. Let's say we about to get into this discussion. So here's the link right here. You just throw this in your web browser, your Google or your Internet Explorer, StreamYard.com, and then a / and then you see it all. The 8C, the IISY 431 or 43IZ. And that's the link. And if you need me to shoot it to you in Facebook Messenger, just shoot me a message and I'll shoot it to you, make it easy on you. But yeah, I want to see all y'all on the show tonight, because we about to get into this.
Hey, Quay, I'm throwing salt. Why is it when we was bashing men, y'all came out the woodworks?
Bro, from everywhere.
We talking about black love, and there's a man doing his job as a cop. Hello. They was dialing in, boy. They was ready to go in on us.
They was on there, man. That show, man. The ladies was deep on that show, man. So I want to see y'all tonight. Let's say we about to get into this. So man, let's get into this.
We need y'all ladies for every show. No doubt. Because y'all are the balance. Y'all the balance in the world.
Here they come.
Welcome. So Quay, what's the topic? What we talk about? What we doing, man?
Hold on. She want the link now. Hold on. Wait, hold on, Los. Wait a minute, man.
Catch this link.
They coming, Los.
Hey, first and foremost, I want to shout out the queen of the show, Miss Chloe Price. Welcome to the show, ma'am. She got her work on, her ammo, her thought process, her thinking cap. Yeah, I mean, she ready.
I'm ready to get in this topic.
Okay.
Get into this topic. I reserved my comments for the show.
Okay. She was ready to get the Budweiser hot seat.
Yes, I just want to know.
Tristina said, "Shoot the link, Quay."
Yes, come on, sis.
I just shot it to you, Nina. I just shot it to you. You should have it.
Look, don't be coming up here and you ain't ready though.
Come on, I stay ready.
I ain't talking about you. I don't want no smoke with you. I don't want no smoke.
Where's Tasha Willis? Tasha Willis, you want the link too?
Quay, you gotta give them the name of the show so they know what we talking about. That will motivate them even more to want to join us.
Man, they won't even let me get started. They blowing me up for the link, man. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. They blowing me up. You want to drop
the secret? What's the name of the show today? Since you the guest speaker today, what's the name of the show? What we talking about, Miss Price?
Is Ratchet the New Black.
What you saying for the people in the back of the church?
Is Ratchet the New Black.
Look, Quay's shaking his head already.
Yes.
It's about to go down.
They coming, man. They ain't playing today.
Nah, you don't deserve nothing, Tasha. You just need to come on in here and just let Jesus do what Jesus do and let it be natural and organic.
What's going on, Nina? What's going on?
What up, though?
What up,
Oh, you
though?
done pulled out that Detroit what up, though. I see this about to go down.
Look, hey, Clay, people, let's start with take these earrings off. Let me get my Vaseline. You don't know who my mama is. You hear me?
My
All
mother is
right.
a distinguished lady, personally.
Okay, you better get it right.
Good. Straight good.
Oh man, we gonna get this started. So we announced the topic. So the topic of the show is Ratchet the New Black.
Hey, Quay, can we see what that title look like for the people? The people might want to see what you created for them today.
Man, are you talking about man? You about to make me pull the flyer up, man? Hold on, man.
I'm just saying, baby. You know what I mean? They might want to read that flyer. For those who can't hear, they might be deaf and impaired. They might need to see what's going on.
Hold on, man. You working me out? Hold on, man. Hold on. You about to work me out?
Apologize. We just want to show the people we love them. We love y'all.
I got about 10 screens running over here, man. Hold on, man.
Look, we want the people in the congregation to get all this good information. Somebody pass the communion. Pass the chicken.
Let me see if I can get this.
Y'all remember after coming to America when they was passing chicken in church?
Donations. I thought it was trash.
Y'all give it up for Randy Watson. What's up, though, ladies? Y'all glowing. Welcome to the show. We appreciate y'all always coming out and always supporting and always moving the culture forward. You know what I mean? Talk to the people a little bit. Let them know it's a safe environment for the ladies to come and express themselves, to give their opinion, and to keep us straight sometimes, too. Uh-oh, what's that?
It's the
Ratchet image, man. That's what you wanted, man.
It's Ratchet the New Black. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So that's what we're talking about today. And if y'all got an opinion about this, we would love to hear what you guys got to say, because sometimes I feel like we've always been that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, people hate on it, but they're culturally appropriate from it and try to rob, steal, and everything. So before I go in, I'm gonna let the ladies do it.
Okay. Well, I have a request.
We ain't done. Hold on. We ain't done yet. We gotta kick this off right. Hold on. Yeah, we gotta start this off. We gotta start this off with a video.
That's what I mean.
Oh yeah. I got you.
I have a feel what video it is already.
We got videos for y'all.
I have a feel what video it is already. So go ahead.
No, you know what it is, Nina. We about to get into this.
Let's get it.
Let me see if I can get this going. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this going.
Small commercial. No, ladies, look at your man. I'll look back at me.
I knew it.
Let's get this going. Let's see.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept, so Black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves and they. Because one, stop the music, please. Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves and they culture, okay? Yeah, no, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves and how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? You want to do it? Get the fuck out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it now. Don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
All right.
Amen.
So, giving a little background context on this video. So, this is a video of a situation that took place a few days ago at a establishment, I want to say in Texas. Okay. And you had a situation where, as I understand it, the DJ was playing some music. You had a party of women who decided they wanted to get their twerk on. The owner came out and kind of expressed his concern around what they were doing and being respectful to the other guests. They got back up, started twerking again. He came out a second time, basically gave him the warning, like, hey, I'm serious. This is my business. We responsible. We maturing here. We're not tolerating that. And the young lady still got up, a third time, got up on the leather couch in her heels, was twerking up on the glass, putting on the show. And, you got mixed reviews from the patrons. Some folks, of course, you heard the yelling in the background in support. And then you had other ones who was turned off because they like, hey, I'm trying to eat, have a grown meal. But essentially the owner had to get to a point where essentially, as you saw in the video, he had to go off. So basically he's communicating to these young ladies that, you know what I'm saying, he opened his business up to provide something nice, you know what I'm saying, for black folks to have, to, you know, to set a nice vibe for black folks. And you know, he got his blood, sweat, and tears in that thing. And you're not gonna come in here disrespecting it. You're not gonna be up here twerking up on no couches and acting a fool and doing all that, you know what I'm saying? And he trying to keep it grown, you know, growing and mature up in there. So basically, if you're not gonna respect the business, you can get the heck out, take your money with you, because I don't want it. And that's what it is. So the reason I wanted to do this discussion is because we see a lot of this type of stuff going on, right? So us couple on the panel, you know what I'm saying, and folks in the comment as well, you know, we of similar age, you know, we see these types of things going on in the community, you know, which I like to call this ratchet stuff. Because essentially, you know, when you get to the point where you standing up on somebody's leather furniture in their restaurant twerking up on some glass, yeah, like that's not something I expect from, you know, somebody on some mature stuff. Like I don't expect you to be doing that, you know, if you're supposed to be mature. But you know, we see different in this video. So the question I want to pose to the panel is how did you feel about that situation in the video? And the second part of that question is how did we get to this point? So anybody can kick that off.
Let them twerk. I'm just playing.
I have saw the video and I made comments on your post on Facebook about the video.
Right.
And I'm a person that believes there's a time and place for everything. Right. 2, I felt like as an owner, he was fed up. And first I was like, well, you know, there's a time and place for everything. Second of all, you're not gonna put your feet on my nice couches and my nice tables and everything else. That's messed up. I also said that I felt like, you know, if you want that type of establishment, don't play that type of music, because that's what you're gonna. That's what happens. That's what you bring. You play some twerk music, people gonna start twerking. Also, though, as grown folk, and I don't know how the ages of the women were, but as grown folk, we should know better. There's a time and place for everything. And then also as an owner, it looks bad when I felt like as an owner, if he has such an issue with the women, he should address them one-on-one, not the whole restaurant. Because to me, it looks bad. That's just me.
Okay.
So.
I agree. I mean, I mostly agree with Nina. Like there is a time and a place for everything. Maybe he didn't have to have the DJ playing that whatever. I couldn't even hear what music was, but playing whatever. I'm assuming it was some hip hop or something like that for her to be twerking. But at the same time, he said specifically, I mean, I heard him when he said specifically is I wanted this place to be for us. So, I mean, I took that to mean he's playing the type of music that he knows we enjoy. So, you know, so many of these nice restaurants and nice places we support, they're not for us. They weren't made for us. They weren't, they don't have us in mind when it comes to anything that has to do with the establishment. We go and we support and we spend our money, but they're not really for us. So I think that I can understand his frustration, because I feel like and I won't say that some of us just don't know how to act nowhere, no matter where we go, okay? But you don't see as much of that in those other establishments. So why come to this black man's establishment and okay, he played, I don't know, Drop It Like It's Hot, I don't know, but he played it. I get it. It ain't like, back in my day, I didn't get triggered when Cash Money took over for 99 and 2000. Like, I ain't gonna act like I didn't get triggered. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. When that beat drop, when that beat drop, I mean, that beat drop and Cash Money take over. It be on. Like, I mean, I don't do that no more. But I had my day.
We know that music is like people catching the Holy Ghost. Oh, Jesus.
But my thing is like, but there is, like Nina said, there is a time and a place though. And if you in a nice place, just be respectful of the people around you and respect yourself first and foremost. Now, about his language, okay, maybe he could have used different language, but at the end of the day, when you get to the point where you frustrated about something, you know, it's going to come out that way. That's the way it's going to come out. And that's what you saw. If he's already talked to these women, like, hey, like tone it down a little bit. If you already talked to somebody once, twice, okay, now you're gonna get it how you get it. Because unfortunately, maybe I gotta come down to a level that you can understand, because maybe you can't understand professional. If you in here doing that, maybe you can't understand me being polite and kind, or just trying to be cool. Like maybe you thought I was playing when I said it like that. So now I gotta come, and you being ratchet, now I gotta meet you where you at. Everybody can't handle elevation. You can't elevate everybody. They take that same mindset. Because see, hood is not a place, it's a mindset. And they take that same mindset everywhere they go. And so, I mean, you know, could he have left the curses out or what? Yeah, but at that point, you put yourself on display. So don't get mad at him if he meets you where you are.
Go ahead, Los.
Let them twerk. I'm just playing.
It's not the bad dude that is bears.
Here's my thing, right? We always complain about wanting something nice. Then that means you got to take care of it. That means you got to respect it. We can't strive for greatness and say why our neighborhoods don't look like this, why don't we have this and that, and then when we have those opportunities, we want to tear it up. Who are you as an adult to go stand on someone else's couch?
Right.
On their tables, on their furniture. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into being able to pay for that stuff for them to have an elegant restaurant. And yet you're going to go there and you're going to disrespect his hard-earned business, money, his business. You know what I mean? And yourself, most importantly. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like not the Holy Spirit, but the twerk spirit ain't real. Because we don't know if the DJ threw the music on, they was like, I ain't gonna do it up in here. He played one more thing. You know. But look, man, at the end of the day, how many times can you talk to people? How many times can you kindly ask someone until you have to put your foot down? And at the same time, ladies, in this scenario, queens, y'all have to check y'all sisters. The same way we have to start checking our brothers in situations. It shouldn't take a store owner to come out 3 different times to say, hey, we shouldn't be doing that. One of the sisters should have been like, sit your ass. You know, we're not finna do that here. We can do that at the after party. We can do that somewhere else. Or if it was an event, because I don't know if that was an event, right? If he was hosting an event for a party, they should have talked to the owner beforehand saying, hey, this is what we're coming in and this is what we want. But if it's just a free-for-all and people are just showing up and wilding out like monkeys and animals, excuse my language, I don't want to call, because people are trying to twist the monkey and animal thing or whatever else, you know what I mean? Because of black people, whatever else. But if you want to act a damn fool in someone's professional restaurant, then shame on you. You should know better than that. There's a time and place for everything. That wasn't the time, nor was the place. And over again, he warned you. So not only did he warn you, your sister should have warned you, your mother or your cousin, or whoever you were sitting next to should have told you to sit down. We're not doing that here because it makes us look bad. Because my only question is this, right? If this was a professional environment, like the man said, he wanted a classy restaurant, and we see our counterparts drive by and look at that, and then they film it, and then it goes viral like it did, and then they comment on it. Are you offended by their comments? Do you even have the right to be offended by someone else commenting on that? Because no one made you go in there and act a fool. So if a white person, Asian, Mexican, or anyone from any other race or any other color in the crayon box said, what the hell is going on in here? Look at this. That's why they ain't got nothing nice. How many people would be offended? How many people would be like, oh my God, cancel culture and all this? But no, you're up in here tearing someone else's place up because you want to act a fool and you want to control yourself. We got to do better. We just got to do better. Accountability and responsibility.
Facts. And you know, the other thing I wanted to touch on, like I said, I made a post about this the other day. I got some responses about it, and I'm just, man, I struggle because I'm trying to understand, how do we get to this point, right? So the reason why the show is is Ratchet the New Black is because for me, it seems like Ratchet has become normalized.
Yeah.
Like Ratchet used to be frowned upon, right? But it's like now we almost celebrate it, right? So like, a girl or a dude or whoever pops up Ratchet, I mean, and we looking up to him. And I'm trying to understand where that comes from, because like I said, when I kind of dig back and go back in earlier times, our parents, our uncles, grandparents, and so forth, like they wasn't glorifying no ratchetness. Like, don't get me wrong, there's always been a level of ratchetness that has existed through generations, but they wasn't glorifying that mess like we glorify it now.
Yeah, it's nowhere near to the level of what it is today.
And I'm trying to figure out where the heck is that coming from, right? Because even, touching back on the point that you guys made earlier in your response to this, I look at this like a neighborhood, right? So typically a lot of us, either grew up or our parents grew up in the city, right? So your parents grow up in the city, and then at some point they make a decision. They don't like what they see around them, so they decide to make a move, right? And it's typically to a suburb. So they make their move to the suburb, and it's like, okay, they were attracted to that suburb because it was better schools, better looking, better amenities, nicer looking houses, better resources, whatever, right? So they made the move, go to the suburb. But the problem is once you make the move to the suburb, what you have to do naturally is leave the bad habits back where you just left. Because if you don't, then that new suburb that you just moved into, and when we see it now, that new suburb that you just moved into is going to turn into what you just moved out of. And this is the same way that I look at this restaurant. So if this brother's trying to give you this nice restaurant, this nice experience, that's probably one of the main reasons that he said that thing is 75% females. Because those females, when they go in there, they like how that thing feel. They like how it look. They like the service. They like the experience. That's why they keep going in there. That's why that place was packed. But if you're going to step into the establishment and bring the ratchetness that was at the other places, at the Bennigan's and the Fridays that you used to go to, that you done now stopped going to because you want to go to some nice stuff, if you take that same ratchetness from there and take it to this nice place that this brother has put together for you, for your people, so y'all can have a nice place to go to, then what you think is going to happen to it?
Right.
So from my perspective, I got to applaud the brother, because see, for me, as a business owner, that's that passion. My man has passion about his business, and he's going to make sure that he maintains the standards and the brand of that business. And he's not about to let that be affected by no type of nonsense coming into that establishment.
I think you hit that on the head, Quay, when you said the standard. There's a standard. For sure. And I think the standard goes back to what Chloe and Tristina was speaking on. There's a time and place for everything.
Right.
At this establishment, there's a standard. Now, if you want to go twerk and go do all these, there's clubs for that, where that is the standard at these places. Right. So when in Rome, like when you go to different environments, you have to understand what the standard is, what the climate is. Now, what you're saying, Quay, which I definitely agree with, is if you want to bring all your bad habits into this new opportunity or this new business, this new environment, this new neighborhood, this new anything, and it's flooded with that, then you're destroying the beauty of what it was, and you're making it like exactly what you left. And so we have to do better in that with the accountability of that, period. The owner was 100% correct, because he created an environment where we could have an elegant music playing, this and that. I do think his song selection with choice could be a lot better, because why would you play twerking music in a beautiful establishment? But at the same time, he should be able to play that type of music, and people should have self-control, because it's something that we like to hear. So there's a responsibility on the customers of having self-control, because they probably were enjoying the music, but they allowed that to take over and let that twerk demon get in them, you know what I'm saying, and forget where they were. And you can't do things like that. He was 100% right. His language could have been choice, could have been worded better, of course. But when you're frustrated, we're all human. We can't act like we ain't all been frustrated and said something in a harsh way. And sometimes you have to meet someone at that level, because if I asked you this, like Chloe pointed out, repeatedly, over and over again, obviously you're not comprehending my kindness and you're taking my kindness for weakness. So now we have to go to another level where I need to meet you where you're at so that way you can understand. So what the video only displays is the ending, and it doesn't show the warnings of, hey, I'm asking you.
Right.
I'm asking you. They just highlight, motherfucker, I told you not in my establishment, blah, blah. And so it makes the brother look a certain type of way when he has done it multiple times. So sometimes when we take certain clips, we don't get the whole story. This young man has repeatedly asked, hey, not here. This isn't the place for that.
Right.
And I also want to point out that education doesn't equal class. It does not equal class. Education doesn't equal class. So the question of, is Ratchet the New Black, is, I would just say that probably it's not, but if you're on the outside looking in, it does look like that.
Right.
It absolutely does. I mean, I'm not saying that it's true, that it's a fact. I'm simply saying if you're on the outside looking in, it does appear that Ratchet is the new Black, because we're glorifying the Cardi B's. We're glorifying the Meg Thee Stallions. We're glorifying these women. Like, we exalt these women, and really they can do no wrong. And I got to put it out to y'all, ladies, my sisters. We're the main we're the main culprits. Like, we support it. We support it. And you were talking about standards. Like, you do have to have that. Like, I'm not saying that a woman can't express herself. I'm not gonna ever be in a place where I'm for women being silenced, because I'm not in any way. But I do believe as women, we do and should carry ourselves a certain way. Like, we are educated, we are leading in business owners, like Black women, like we are. That's the truth.
College graduates,
but people don't see. But people are too. But they see more of that, right? And we already know there's a pre-existing narrative being pushed about our community anyway.
Right.
So we know some of it is inflated, but we give them a lot. We give them a lot to work with, though. We give them a lot of ammo. We give them a lot of footage. We give them a lot. We give away a lot. Like, these women.
You got the other racists that's out there that's culturally appropriating and doing the exact same thing. It just doesn't get highlighted. So I think a big thing.
Nor does it get looked at the same way. Nor does it get considered the same way.
And I think you're 100% right. And I do think the media plays a huge role in that as well, right?
Right.
So
I'm gonna say that
the media never glorifies or highlights the Black women that are graduating college, starting their own businesses, that are entrepreneurs, that are just empowering themselves. They never showcase that, right? They highlight the Cardi B, they highlight the Meg Thee Stallion. So because these certain people are highlighted, it makes it seem as if it's the majority. You know what I mean? But actually, the truth, the majority actually is Black women graduating college. Black women are entrepreneurs. Black women are business owners. So that's actually the majority. But social media or the society will never showcase that. So they frame it kind of like the Black on Black crime thing. You know what I mean? They frame it in a way where it looks as if Cardi B is the spokesperson or Meg Thee Stallion is the spokesperson for all Black women. And that's not true. You know what I mean?
And that's not the standard. Right. That's not the standard.
You're right. But ladies, stop shaking your behind at the Mortons. Oh, wait, you don't do that. So stop shaking your behind at our places too. Like, if you don't want them to highlight what you're doing, don't do it. Flat out. Like, why you in the Black Mortons or the Black Capitol Grill or the Black Prime 29 twerking on the glass? Like, why are we doing it? Like, I understand, like I said, Cash Money taking over, and I get it, but I'm not doing that in Roof Chris. Like, I mean, this is where that time and the place where that comes into play. Like, you do have to have some self-control. I mean, I'm all for a good chair dance. I mean, you could have been in that chair, letting that chair have it.
Mm-hmm.
But why you up on on the couch in your shoes and twerking on the glass? Like, lady, you took it. I mean, she took it all the way. She went
To
all the way
another
there,
thing.
like all the way there. So, I mean, I get what y'all saying, and definitely the media pushes a narrative. That's without question. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like we sometimes we make it too easy.
I think we make it easy, but I think also, and I'm gonna go back to the media in the sense that a lot of times I think what happens is that, back in the day when we were coming up, we had a little more balance. You had the ratchet, but also you had the educated black women, you had the educated brothers doing their thing. You had the balance of really what the black community showed to be a lot of times a little bit more so than in the 90s versus now. It seems like now it's like everybody fighting, everybody cheating, everybody out here doing this, twerking this, and that's all you see if if that's what you're watching VH1, even like BET was supposed to be our channel, but that's no here nor there. Um, you know, and you have to look and seek those things to show black people doing well or doing good versus now it seems like all you see is everybody being ratchet, everybody want to fight,
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to communicate with each other. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I want to be a stripper, bump school.
But you don't think
That's
that's a
all you see.
manipulation or that's an agenda,
Oh
kind of like Instagram with algorithms? They show you what they want you to see. You know what I mean? To paint a picture,
yeah.
to try to paint black people with a brush across and say, well, this is a representation for all black people. Like I remember one night I went to karaoke, right? And a white lady said, nigga. And I was like, ma'am, you can't say that. And she says, well, Kanye West says it. Kanye West don't speak for all black people. That's not
Mm-mm,
a pass for you to
mm-mm.
be able to say that or make that. So sometimes I feel like, and the reason why I brought up that example is because the media will try to use the Meg the Stallion and all these other different scenarios to use it as a paintbrush to say this is just
Mhm,
black culture. But they don't show the people at Harvard. They don't show all the black colleges. They don't show all the black women, or they don't show all the that black women are leading in education and becoming new entrepreneurs or black businesses. They don't show that, and it's not shown for a reason. And the reason is, well, the same right way we're having this conversation. Now, do we give them opportunities with a loaded gun with situations like this for people to say something? Yeah. You know what I mean? And we got to be accountable for that. We can't run from the accountability in that. But at the same time, we still have to be smart enough to understand that the media paints a picture for a reason. And they want you to see this for a reason. They want this to be the belief of everyone. So you can come from Asia and you see something and be like, well, that must be all black culture.
mhm,
Oh yeah, you see what I'm saying? So it's manipulated to deceive people to think that this is the only thing that black culture is all about, and that's super false.
So
Mm-hmm.
hold that thought, hold that thought. Let me welcome our new guests. So we got Ash Bash, we got Tasha, and we got Joe. So welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
So I said, you got anything you want to get off your chest? Either three of y'all, go ahead.
Well, I saw Ratchet, so I had to click on automatically. So that was when I saw Ratchet the title. I had to click on automatically. Okay, this is gonna be interesting on the week after Thanksgiving. I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. Because I caught a little bit of what Chloe was saying, and this has been, like I said, I'm an old guy here, so I'm just gonna. This has been talked about forever, and I thought it was going to get better actually when the 90s came, when you seemed like things were moving, progressing. But I had a talk with a friend of mine this afternoon, and it seemed like things were getting better, but for some reason it's going backwards again. And for me, I have no idea why. To be honest, because I work in the entertainment business as an actor, so I see this quite a bit. And now you have this advent of social media. I mean, you got people doing all types of stuff on Twitter that I thought that Twitter be shut down for, but it's like it's out there and I've seen it. I'm in the business, so it's my business to know these things. The solution to me is that you either want self-respect, or you don't. That seems, I hate to just keep it simplistic, but that's the way I see it. You either want to show your ass or you don't want to show your ass. Yeah, you either, at some point you have to say to yourself, look, fine, you do you. I'm doing me. Okay, I can't be this thing. And if people go for it, fine, they go for it. Because at this point, I don't know what else you can do. I don't know what else you can say. I don't know what you can do. You can preach, you can march about it, you can talk about it, you can do forums like this about it. But someone is out there twerking, doing whatever just to get likes on Instagram or whatever it's. And look, what do you want me to do? I'm not the moral police. I'm not the moral police. I can't tell you to put your clothes on or pull your pants up, because I'm seeing 50-year-old guys, people my age, walk around with their ass showing, and I don't know why. Why are you on a bus with your pants sagging and you're not 15 and you're 50 years old? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. But they do, and that's why I'm glad I have a car now, so I ain't gotta be on the bus no more. So yeah, I let the bus system handle that. Okay, so anyone else can jump in. I like I said, because I was listening to Chloe's stuff, and I just was shaking my head. I was thinking, God, I can't believe we're still here. Really, I can't believe that we're still, after having, and I know it's gonna sound cliche, after having a Black president and a Black family that set the example of what you can be, and especially Michelle Obama and I being the same age. She's only got me by 2 months older, and we're seeing this, and I'm like, I can't believe we're still here at this place, and it makes absolutely no sense. And then their parents must be either my age or younger, and letting these kids are doing this stuff, and I'm like, who the hell raised you? I mean, please tell me you didn't grow up in my neighborhood. And don't tell me I don't know your mom and dad, because I'm gonna be like, look, I don't know what you did. I'm glad I didn't have kids, because I had to raise my kids around yours, then there would be some problems. But but that's I don't know. I can't believe, and I don't want to come off I don't want to come off as a moralist and try to preach and all that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, you just you can go ahead. I mean, Tasha, go ahead, jump in. I mean, like I said, I'm the lost for words. But she's got her hand raised. I was like, you can go ahead.
I just want to add to what you're saying. I do agree with you. I think that wanting to behave a certain way has to be in you. Wanting to match the ambiance of an establishment or what's going on, that has to be something that's in you. I think Chloe said something similar earlier, like it's kind of takes you back to that phrase, you can go to school but you can't buy class. Like it just has to be in you. Just like I am not a heels girl. I don't like to wear heels. It has to be a gala, it has to be a wedding, it has to be something that I know from looking at other events and looking around me that, oh, I should be wearing after 5 attire to this. But any other day, I'm sweats and jeans and t-shirts. But so I think that the important lesson that was learned for the business owner is it's not about right and wrong, because you can argue all day long if we thought that he was fair or right in his reaction. But really it's about taking the stress off himself. He stressed himself out going to talk to her like that. Bottom line, if it was Morton's or a white establishment, the reason why we know how to act is because white people always play by bringing in the law or bringing in money. Yo, the police coming up here if you act a fool. Yo, it's a $50 cleaning tax for my leather sofa in this restaurant and putting it on myself. Like, just put it in the paper. Put it on paper. It's no need to even go argue with somebody or even try to call yourself checking them. But I think that's cultural too, in a sense of how we're raised in our household. Your mama gonna tell you, get your feet off my damn couch. Like, that's cultural as well. So I think when it comes to owning businesses and us getting out here and trying to kill some of those stereotypes, is we got to also learn how to do business and learn how to hit people where it hurts. Oh, baby girl, I came and spoke to your table twice. So that extra $50 fee you see is for the sofa cleaning that I'm going to have to do because you continue to put your feet on my sofa. And you might not want to come here again because this is not the kind of establishment that I'm trying to run. You just got to cut into people with the clean facts and the pay up. You want to act a fool, pay for it. That's why
Right.
white people keep lawyers on deck, because they go places and they do act a fool, but they know that somebody's gonna call the law on them. You don't think white people have gotten dragged out of places? Lindsay Lohan, I'm sure she's been on a binge and a trip and then got kicked out of many places, but she rich, and so they say, hey, they go on the bill, and she need to call her lawyer, have that retainer ready, because that's how you got to move when you have in certain establishments and businesses, and when you're trying to make something nice and set a certain tone. You ain't got to go arguing with nobody and telling them they gonna have to get the fuck out, because really, if you wanted her to leave and you ain't need her money, that's what needed to be said on that third trip to the table. 3 strikes and you out. Shorty, I'm gonna need you to let somebody from your party handle your bill, but I'm gonna need you to exit the establishment tonight.
Right.
Facts. Facts.
Learning
Facts.
experience for everybody, for that young lady and for him as a
Whole
business owner.
facts.
Love it.
Facts. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Facts.
Ashley. You want to say something?
Yes. So I do feel like there is like a little bit of a component of like post-traumatic slave syndrome and how we see these things play out. Because honestly, like back in the day, let's say somebody's not working as hard in the fields, right? Everybody got their ass beat. Everybody got an extra whipping. We were often as strong as our weakest link. And I think, and even though it's a whole 2020, sometimes we still feel that way. So we see someone acting a certain way, even though we know universally there's inherently always going to be that small percentage, always. But we can't detach. Always held us accountable for our weakest link. So we're like, oh, we're still here. Even if things are gradually changing, even if we are making progress, because that small percentage exists, which will always exist, we get reactive. And then we say, oh, well, we must be back in the same place. Oh, we just went back 100 years. When it's like, no, we're still making progress. There's just always going to be people who do conduct themselves this way. And there always have been, because, energy is created or destroyed. So whatever energy they're operating from has always existed. So, and I don't think white people do that to themselves. Like, obviously it's in their benefit not to do that, because then you're always feeling like the weakest link. But I feel like when I see something like that, I think it has a lot to do with what you're around and like what we see in the media and which media we watch. Because if I follow the Shade Room every day and I look at that, I might have a certain view of where Black women
right.
my life, and the ones I see on a daily basis, I'm constantly feeling like, wow, we're leveling up. Entrepreneur, occasionally, and beating generational curses, I only see a positive incline because that's what I'm around, and the outlets that get that other stuff, I don't really entertain them as much. But where I put my attention might change how I feel about Black women, or if I feel like we're still in the 1900s or whatever. But in this situation, as a business owner, I'm automatically going to hold him accountable, because the way that he cursed those girls out, especially those were young women, 100%, 1,000,000% unacceptable. Even when you see Atlanta restaurants, racist restaurants, we've seen videos go viral, like T.I. and like a bunch of other rappers recently. Not once cursing a Black woman to their face. So I have a big problem with that. 2, if you treat your restaurant like a strip club, don't get shocked when people start twerking. If you look at the nature of that song, Booty Me Down, Shake It to the Ground, Left Cheek, Right Cheek, Give Me Head Now. Like, the song is sexually explicit. It's you add alcohol to the mix. We're speaking from a place of being sober. We're rationalizing it. We're not thinking, okay, these are drunk people in the moment. It doesn't matter how many times you come back to the table. They're drunk. Every establishment has dealt with drunk people. I've witnessed it. Even when I was a waiter in college, the way that it goes, okay, you give a warning, then get security involved. Those are not the first or last people.
Right.
So he handled that wrong. He could have gotten security the same way you would have done it if they were white, if you weren't trying to go viral off of some clout, trying to be marketing. If you would have just did what you're supposed to do as a professional business owner, just have them escorted off the premises. But also talk to your DJ, because alcohol and music like that, that's like playing Lil Boosie at a funeral and being shocked when people.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that.
Me as a
so Ashley, let me ask you this, Ashley.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So you just brought up a good point, because I think we got to get down to the root of what's going on. So you just kind of gave us the playback of the lyrics to the song that was playing.
Yeah.
So what about those lyrics makes a woman want to get up on a leather couch and twerk?
alcohol can do it, the beat can do it. I wouldn't do it for one, but at the end of the day, in a business setting, that's not the place for it. If you go to a strip, hear that song, but you're adding alcohol, that's the thing. And you're thinking from a logic-minded place, like, what about booty me down, give me head now will make me want to dance? You may have a different opinion if you have some liquor in your system and depending on what's going on around you. But for me, like, I have consumers that give me trouble sometimes, depending on which business, like marketing you have. There's always people who give you hell, who do ratchet things, right? But you still have to conduct yourself appropriately. I don't think twerking is right. I'm not even that type of person. I'd be looking at people like, oh man, damn, why you got us looking like this? But then I have to think, like, wait, they don't represent all of us. We're not only as strong as our weakest link. And if somebody's going to generalize all of us based off of this girl twerking, that's actually their problem. It's not up to me to feel like, okay, well, let me go make up for it, because we do that a lot in life. Like, I've over-tipped just because I've seen
I've done that too.
That's a good point.
Link, which means we're not even operating out of our authentic selves, because we're trying to fix reputation for people who feel that way about us regardless. Because there's always going to be that small percentage. So if you're going to generalize the whole race, if an Asian person is going to watch and see Megan Thee Stallion twerk and generalize all of us, they were eventually going to see a video of somebody twerking and generalize all of us anyway. So I don't have to prove nothing to anybody.
I feel that. So let me do this. Let me welcome Nicole to the show. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Welcome.
Hey, Nicole.
I want to present another. You want to say something, Nicole, or are you good?
I'm good.
I want to present another. Go ahead, Los.
I did want to bring this up. One of the points that Ashley made was how he spoke to the black women in the restaurant, right?
Right.
I understand about the frustration and people getting upset, and I feel like in a professional environment, he definitely could have did it professionally a lot better, even though he did it multiple times. But on the example of from us as men, because we haven't talked about that, when we see another black man talking to black women like that, in that environment, what precedent does it set about respect towards black women? Question for you.
None. Absolutely none.
Okay,
go ahead, Nicole. Go ahead, Nicole.
I'm just asking.
No, go ahead, Nicole.
It says none, but I thought about how the guy responded. I'm thinking, like, did he respond that way potentially because he felt that's how they were gonna understand it? Like, he felt like he had to scoop to that level and kind of say it that way. But
because I know he asked multiple times.
Yeah, but then he cussed like at the end, like he called her a B or something, or get the fuck out.
You know what?
I think he said bitch.
No, he didn't say.
He said get the fuck out, right, or something.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't call anybody. Yeah, no,
but he didn't cuss her at the end though, right? Like at the third time when he basically was saying like leave.
Yeah, no, basically, let's say he was telling them basically to get the F out. He didn't use the B word at all. I'm gonna be honest with you though, Los. Like I said, don't get me wrong. No disrespect to any woman is right? So that's definitely my position on that. But from my perspective, man, what I heard from that brother, man, to be honest with you, was I think that brother was hurt. Like he seemed like he was hurt, man, because it seems like that establishment is like his baby.
Okay, and of course,
or maybe he experienced something like that before and it really ticked him off.
Yeah, from his perspective, it almost came off like he done put some work in to get that place together, man, because he's talking about he made this place for us. Like it's almost like my man is like, I'm trying to give us something nice. And it's like, you just gonna come in here and just disrespect my stuff. And it's like, instead of calling the cops, instead of, going in and blowing it up, he like, let me just go talk to these young girls. Maybe let me just let me do a daddy for a minute. Let me go talk to these girls and just try to say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I understand y'all, had y'all a couple drinks, y'all feeling good or whatever, but this just not the way. And like I said, we can't do that here. We trying to keep this thing clean. We trying to present something. And it's like when he got to the point where he had to go back the third time, I think he was looking at it almost like a daddy-daughter type situation. Like, hey, y'all got to get out. Like, I'm trying to work with y'all. I could have blew this up and got the cops in here and made y'all, had y'all in the jail tonight because y'all was going to, whatever the charges would be in that situation. But He like, I ain't even want to do that. Like, let me just holler at y'all. Like, hey, we don't do that here. Let's just keep this clean, ladies. I'm trying to give y'all something nice. Like he said, his patrons are 75% women. So his business literally is catering to women all the time. And he trying to, bring something clean to the ladies, because he also spoke about the fact that
He did.
He makes it a priority to hold the men that come there accountable, to be mature, respectful men.
Yep.
So if the ladies are feeling comfortable, because he takes a priority to make sure the men is on point, so they ain't harassing the girls and hitting on them and doing all that nonsense, then for the lady to come in there on some old disrespectful twerking, just disregarding anybody else in the restaurant. And two, we can't leave out the fact that there's other people in the restaurant eating. Like, I think people forgot about that. They act like it's just these ladies. There's other people in there that ain't there to twerk. They there to eat their steak and eat their little scallops and go home. But if they got to look at old girl twerking, like I said, that's a problem. And two,
no for me.
I just want to throw this. I'm going to throw this out there. Then I'm gonna stop. Joe, you made a point earlier, man. You made a statement earlier, and I had to write it down. And you said, "I am not the moral police." And I'm starting to wonder, man, is that part of the problem? Are we not speaking up about this stuff enough? Because this stuff is becoming so normal now, but nobody is speaking against it. We'll sit over in the corner with our steak and be like, man, what is old girl doing over there? Why don't she sit down somewhere? But we don't never say anything. We just keep it to ourselves and talk amongst ourselves. So should we start talking more about this stuff? But y'all go ahead.
I could say for some people my age, yeah, I'm not even, I'm surprised at what some of these people be doing and talking. I'm like, what a filter.
I mean, I just think like
wait a minute. Well, to answer your question, let me ask this question. The answer to your question is, yeah, I don't mind speaking up, but I have to make sure I have a gun with me or something, because sometimes because the moment you speak up, then that could get you shot. Unfortunately, that we live in those times that people don't want to be. But people won't do what they want to do. They want to do whatever they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, any which way they want to do it. And I mean, I've had many times that I've had people wanting to come at me because I said something, and they said, "Man, who the fuck are you?" That type of nonsense. And they want to put out something out their back pocket or their ass. They keep it, And I'm like, so I just said, okay, fine. That's how your parents raised you. I just leave it alone. But you know what? But I think that's why, I'm kind of glad that there's cameras on phones where people can take it and they can shame them on the internet, and and then someone can say, "Oh man, is that you? Is that you out there doing it?" Then they can do it that way. They can't prove I had a camera. They can't prove that it was my camera that shot this shot. They can't prove that. They're not that sophisticated. At least I hope they're not. But but yeah, I mean, yeah, it may be. But you know what? The only way to talk out is to talk to the kids. I think if you're a grown person, you see kids acting like that. Maybe kids who are 13 and under, maybe that would be the time to do it. But then you got the parents come out, then you got parents come out the front door saying, "Who are you talking to my kid like that?" Then you got that shit going on. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I was saying, but you also got parents who are encouraging that behavior, who's encouraging their 5-year-old to twerk and everything else. I remember when I was a kid, I was just talking to my sister about this. My mother would get so mad at us if we was dancing out in the street. That was a no-no. Yeah. That was a no-no. Yeah. You don't do that. When you're out and you're outside this house, you are a representation of me. You do not go out here to dancing and everything else in the middle of the street. We could not do that. And I think part of that is where it has to start. Is even if the parents are doing it, get the kids in something where they show, even though we hated it. I hated going to charm school. I hated going to different things, but actually I'm appreciative of it now. So, like I said, time, place, everything. I will go to the club and do my thing and dance my butt off. So I love to dance, but I'm not going to do it at a restaurant while people are eating. That's just rude.
Yeah. I just think there has to be, I think there has to be a standard. Like we talk about how disrespectful it was for him to use the language that he used, which cursing is disrespectful, but I mean, regardless, whenever you use it. But we have to talk about the lack of respect that these women have for themselves. And I'm just not. I understand that when you drink, you lose inhibition. So like I know that from personal experience. I understand how that goes. But I think we have to raise up a standard. Like we need to raise up a standard for ourselves. And back to your point, Kwesi, like maybe you can't always walk up to a person and front them off in their face. Like you can expect to probably get a negative response from that. But at the same time, we pressure each other in other ways. Like societal pressure to do other things and to fall in line with other things. There's ways to encourage and discourage certain things. There's ways to do that. If we start seeing people saying, not appreciating something or not encouraging it, and having people feel, what we used to say back in the day, having them feel crunchy when they act different because nobody else is going along with it, then that's going to make them less likely to do that behavior because it's not going to get any attention. Nobody's going to like encourage it. Like we're not going to be cheering it on. They know that everybody's going to frown and look at them like they crazy. So they won't do. People will be less likely to do that. Even with a couple of drinks, people are going to be less likely to do that because let me tell you something about the embarrassment. Embarrassment can get through anything. Like you could be drunk as you want to, but you recognize when you being embarrassed, okay? When you being embarrassed, that's an emotion that could cut through anything. Embarrassment
will strain you right on up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You next, Tosh.
So we have an example of being in a restaurant where the people came in. They came from a wedding. They was drunk. They was lit from a wedding, and they were so loud. I mean, they were so loud, just like real, just out of character. And so we talked to the waiter and we just politely, we didn't even really say anything to them. We just politely got up and moved our seat all the way to the other side of the restaurant. Well, it was so obvious what we did that they noticed that we did that. And they immediately knew it was because we were offended or bothered by their behavior. So one of the guys from the table ended up coming over and apologizing, like, I'm sorry, we're probably loud, we had a couple drinks, we apologize or whatever. That's the embarrassment. That's how you apply pressure without having to be overt about it. Let people know that that's not going to fly. Like, that's not acceptable. What were the other people in the restaurant that was offended? Because I know it was other people in the restaurant that was offended.
Oh, sure.
Y'all wasn't giving them dirty looks. Y'all wasn't like whispering under your breath. Y'all wasn't making them feel uncomfortable. Make them feel so uncomfortable they don't want to be in there no more. Like,
and my thing is,
enough to get up on the couch. She must have felt real comfortable.
Joe, Tosh next.
No, I was going to say that my thing is that, you know what, whatever happened to the days that when someone started acting a fool, everybody turn and look at you.
That's what I was getting ready to address.
That's not happening.
What happened to those days? Because that used to happen a lot when I was growing up.
The standard disappears as the generations change because less of those standards are present. So, for instance, if right now we are facing the society of 18-year-olds or so, who a lot of them didn't have both parents. I mean, I got some of my peers who are already grandparents, and I'm just turning 40. So it's like, like some of this stuff, like we got kids raising kids, and they're not stopping what they're doing to raise their kids. They're continuing to be kids while raising some kids.
Right.
Meaning that's why we get the kids. That's why we have some of the parents. I think Nina mentioned it earlier. Like, shoot, some of these mamas be twerking with their kids. Those are those people that I'm speaking of. So the standard disappears as the generations continue to bring forth all of this brokenness at baby ages. I mean, we talking about women and girls having kids at 13 and 14 and keeping it secret. Girls and then now it's much worse because of the access. There's so much media and access through the phones. Everything is instant. Like back in the day, it was easy for our parents to track our stuff. It was easy. Like when we got a beep, I remember getting a beeper and thinking I was so grown. These kids have cell phones.
Not the beep.
Have cell phones at 11. They having cell phones at 9, 10, and 11. My godson is 6 and knows how to work a cell phone like any 30, 20-year-old. Like, this is their era. They're born into this technology, and they have all of this access at their fingertips to all kind of things that we would deem as grown. I remember, and then as far as checking people in my nanny days, I had the kids, the babies at the mall at Eastland, and this older man comes in. He looks like he like maybe works on cars or just does blue collar work, and he's like cussing every other word. And I was like, "Excuse me, sir, like, you know, I got babies with me." Like, just trying to ask him nicely to watch his language, and he got to trying to go on me like, I'm grown, you know, cover their ears. Shoot, I'm grown. I'm grown enough to, I earn the right to say what I want to say, where I want to say it, cover their ears. So we don't even have respect of persons. So we can't hardly check people. The best thing you can do is to pour into people around you in your village, pour into the youth you come in contact with, pour into the people at your church, pour into your kids, your nephews, your god kids, because the standard is what we looking at every time we get on social media, body, yada, 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 and these kids on TikTok. And I don't want to be a fun snatcher. I think that it's cool for the kids to have some fun, but the balance comes in the home, but you got to be educating and talking to kids. You just got to constantly talk to them and not baby talk and not ABCs. If a kid's favorite song is Single Ladies, you need to ask them why that's their favorite song and get into the lyrics and just start breaking stuff down with kids, because they are born into this and they're overexposed. And in some areas and instances, it's nothing we can do about it.
Like, I'm glad you brought that up, right? So I have an opportunity to do
Ashley, you want to say something, Ashley?
Oh, no, he can go first.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Los.
Go, you're fine. Go ahead, Ash.
Oh, no, I was agreeing. I was saying, like, for sure, I think a big part of the standard changing is how we present success. Because right now there's a lot happening with technology. All these a lot of people are being left behind, and these kids are looking up, and not just kids, women are looking up, and they're saying, okay, this woman's doing. They're looking at attached to it, and the virtuous people, the people who do, you know, that standard, and they say, hey, that's not cool. Is my audio weird?
It was breaking up a little bit.
Sorry. The people
Everybody mute their mic, please.
The people who do that, it's like if they feel like they may not have something to show for that life. That honest woman might look like, oh, but she's not in a great financial place, or she's not successful. This is what success is. So they feel like they have to exploit themselves in that way. I mean, I went in on WAP because I hated the song and the message and everything about it. People acted like I stabbed their mama or something just for talking about WAP. But
wait, what?
Yes, but I think a lot of people are hypocrites too, because a lot of people making the statement about self-respect. You'll watch these things and guys are telling these girls, I'm not man shaming, but just hear me out. They'll say, respect yourselves, lady, and do this. You click follow and look at the posts that they be liking on social media. You look at these. I'm like, if we say this, but this is the person who's you're giving them more of a platform, which means they're going to get more money because you get paid the more engagement that you reach. You're elevating this person's reach and their platform and influence ultimately. So are you really against that? If behind closed doors, that's still what you like? Let's see those Chrome history, the browsers, the things they like, the pages they follow. It's not in alignment. And I think that men are giving out a mixed message, and they're not holding their brothers accountable, because y'all do like twerk energy. Everybody making six figures on OnlyFans for a reason.
What?
But that's where I go to incognito.
Hold on.
That's where I get incognito.
Hold on, Joe. Hold on.
She said what she said.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Los.
She said what she said.
Los.
Period.
Los.
No, you crazy.
She had to end with a period.
Hold on. Did we just get man shame, Los? Hold on, brother. Who is Ashley, man?
Wait. No. She ain't coming on here doing that. Nah, she told the truth. I mean, she ain't lying. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we got to be accountable. It's fair. I mean, good messages, you got to take it.
Hold on,
you got to take good messages.
Hold on. Let me see if I can block Ashley. Hold on. She tripping on here. Hold on. Don't be man shaming on
No, we can't block her. We can't block her. She gotta stay.
So
the female delegation says she gotta stay.
That's right.
I had an opportunity, right, coming up not this weekend but next weekend to shoot a music video, and I was like, bro, I think as a content creator, we're responsible. There's a responsibility with the content that you create. It would be easy to go make a twerk video. It'd be easy to go up there and have women doing this and that with an easy song and everything else. But as a content creator, what type of future am I helping create by the content that I put out? So I get on here and I talk and I have this conversation with, and it's the same thing that Ashley's saying right now, right? About accountability. I straight up said, I don't want to do no songs about no drugs. I didn't want to do no songs about no twerking. I didn't want to do no songs about none of that disrespectful stuff to us, because we're more than that. As a content creator, I'm not saying you can't talk about that. I'm just saying, for me, the type of content that I want to create. So I got with this brother named Cato. Cato Fornia is his name, right? And he created this music video, and this is the perfect topic. It's so funny, guy, how you work things out sometimes. It's called It's Nothing. And what it is a music video about holding us accountable, right? About some of the things that we do that we've been deceived or tricked to believe that it's something. He's talking about pimping. He's talking about gambling. He's talking about balling. He's talking about being disrespectful and all these in this music video, right? And then he's holding the brothers or us or as a culture accountable, like, yo, this is nothing. Like, we've been lied to, we've been deceived, we've been tricked, we've been bamboozled to think that this is the way. When actually there's an opportunity over here that we don't even really tap into, that we should be tapping into. And if you really believe that this is it, then you want to be fooled. Because here's the thing, you're accountable. Let's go biblical. Chloe, you can count. You can tell me if I'm wrong or right. You're accountable for what you know, right? And so once you know this or whatever else, you can't say it. So I thought it was very important for people to be accountable for knowing that, bro, that lifestyle that you living right now, that's nothing. That's really not it. That's the lie that you've been told. That's the bullshit that you've been sold by the media, by your oppressors who want to keep you in the systemic thing, to take your vote from you, to lock you up, to get free labor, to do all these different things. And you're following down this path that has been booby-trapped, that has already been rigged. There's not too many people that live that lifestyle that get to retire. But yet you've been lied to so much that you out here in the streets, you banging over a color, you out here disrespecting women, you out here wilding out, you out here doing everything illegal, and then you like, yo, oh, Black Lives Matter, black this, black that, black pop. But yet you're the same thing that's being the cancer to the opportunity, because when someone else sees me based off of your lifestyle, I'm being judged on how you live. So when I got beat up by the police and I went to court, I seen these two young black brothers in court. My mom's in here right now so she could tell you if I'm lying. Yo, Quay, I'm gonna pretend it's me and you. What's up, bro? Man, I'm glad to see you, bro. I knew you would be up in here, man. They thought they was gonna get me, cuz, you know what I'm saying? They tried to lock me down for 2 months, but I ain't, they can't keep a good brother down. They got me back. Bro, what are y'all doing?
Right.
That's embarrassing. That's not what I'm putting my life on the line for this country for. That's what I'm not fighting for you for, bro. That's not who we are. We're better than that. There's so much more opportunity than that. And you up in here 18 years old thinking that this is it. And it's not. And it's only because of the environment that you saw that you think that this is the only opportunity that you have. So you've been lied to, you've been bamboozled, you've been tricked, you've been fooled. You see what I'm saying? So I think for me as a content creator, it's my responsibility to be able to showcase other things in a different light, to be able to, to fix that equation. Because here's the thing, is Black the new Ratchet? No, but we are the vibe. We are the wave, because everything we do gets copied. I don't care. They disrespect Black women so much, but then they copy them. Everything, all the way from Bantu knots. They copy us. Even from dancing, even from the baggy long shorts. You see everybody in the NBA wear, because remember when basketball first started, they wore the little short shorts. You know what I'm saying? But now everyone's wearing the long shorts in basketball. Everything that we do is fire. And people rob us from our creativeness, and then they sell it back to us. And then we wonder why our neighborhoods are broken poor. Is because they've robbed us of all of our gems and jewels. So we have to be careful. So when this young man, and I agree with you, he was hurt, Quay. Like, I have busted my ass to create an establishment for an environment for us to have more. We do not have to be in the ghetto. We can have class. We can have this. We can be in the kingdom. We can be in the castle. We can live in abundance. But this is action that you're doing right now is counterproductive to the lifestyle that we are trying to say we want. Now, I don't agree with cussing no woman out. I don't agree with that. He could have definitely spoke to the sisters better, but after so many times, I wish he would have said everything that he said without any of the cussing. Same meaning, same principle, same standard, because I don't want other men to think they're looking at him as a role model to say, well, this is the way to check a woman. This is the way to talk to a sister. This is how, when they get out of line or they doing something, I ask them kindly, then this is how I need to talk to them. because he went viral from this. And this is the way, this is the new clout. You know what I mean? So we want to check that. So I agree with Ashley when he says accountability for us checking our brothers on how we do stuff. But at the same time, we got to be truthful and we got to live a better path, bro.
For sure.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this quick though, because I can tell you as an actor myself, it's one of those things that you have to weigh, especially when it comes to parts that you have to take and projects that you become a part of. I have to agree with something Viola Davis said some years back, and she said that, you know what, as actors, our job, we're not politicians. Our job is to tell the truth about humanity.
Right.
Because you were talking about being a content creator. And I've been involved in projects which, you know, they're kind of risque and so forth. I mean, not crazy. I mean, just, you know, they deal with language and stuff like that. But I guess my point is, as a performer, as an actor and so forth, and you being one yourself, as you create content and so forth, does the actor have a moral responsibility to only take certain parts and not take those parts where it may have them go into a dark place? Because I always wonder that from an audience perspective, because sometimes, you know, actor's job is just that. It's just to be an actor and tell the truth about things, about what's going on. They're not the ones causing all of this in a way. I mean, in a way, in a small way they might be, but in a way, the whole macro, the system is what it is. Right. You know, and their job is to depict the system, depict people in their lives in the system that we're in. So I'm going around the mule's ass here, but I'm just asking, what where does the artist fit in? I know that may be getting off topic, but we are talking about an artist.
Yeah, that's a great question, Joe. That's a great question. Ashley, do you want to take that first? Do you want to answer that question?
Sure.
No, I was asking, do you want to answer your question? As about
do I want to answer it?
No.
As an actor, I can tell you this: I don't look at as a part at any parts that I've auditioned for or a book. I don't look at what morality I'm trying to set. I'm trying to look at what the truth is in the part and what the person is I'm trying to play.
Right. And they're gonna answer you, Joe. They're gonna answer your question.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Go ahead, Ashley or Lois. Go ahead.
Actor, I think it depends on you and if you have a specific vision, because there are a lot of people where it's like, you know, take everything and just be truthful to that story. But like for myself, there are things that I've passed on that were a big conflict of interest. When I see something going down a certain path, like there's a film, y'all see it'll be coming out, attempting to bridge the gap between like Korean Americans and Black Americans around the Rodney King era while that was going down. But really, the script just justifies why they killed that girl, kind of, in a way. So it's like, no, I'm not in to tell this story. There's no pay or like credit that's worth that. And so sometimes you'll make certain decisions like based off that, but it's totally your choice. For me, I trust my craft 1,000%. It's getting us places, getting where we need to go. So I do feel like, you know, I don't think it puts you in a better position to accept something that's incriminating, but what's incriminating is different per person. So your, you know, boundaries and non-negotiables may be different from mine.
Right. Okay. I just wondered about this. I mean, because when I did discussions like this, I always I think about, even though when I say what I say, I also have to remember the stuff that I choose to do when it comes to working in the business, and I don't want to come off as a hypocrite or get canceled, all that stuff. But you know what I'm saying, that you know, that's why I was bringing that up, because I was listening to what you're saying, King, and I you know.
Yeah, for me, Joe, in that scenario, I respect actors who don't mind just telling the truth to the story. You know what I mean? Because it's not them as the person, it's them as the character, and they have to go and do deep research to become that character, to embody that character, because it's someone's lifestyle. Acting is a reflection of the human condition. So as far as respecting the craft and having to dig into different characters who I am not, then I do understand that. Now, there's a difference as far as storyline though goes. You know what I mean? I feel when it comes to Black people, some of our stories haven't been told. We don't always have to tell the story of us being drug dealers or, you know, a Black woman sleeping with a white man to get ahead in life. and she's just not smart enough to be there for herself on her own merit. Or every show doesn't have to be the white savior or anything like that. I feel like we have our own stories and afflictions that we need to tell just as well. You know, when was the last time we had a show like The Cosby's? When was the last time we had a show like A Different World? When was the last time we had a show like 227? When was the last time we had shows that showed us as being educated, being smart, being articulate, being mentors, or whatever else? Why is it when
I
we're
think
always
Blackish and Grownish does that.
Blackish is doing that. I think Blackish is doing that.
I was about to say, we only have a very few, which would be Blackish and Grownish, which is kind of the same spinoff of the same show. But look at how many shows are out there, and we're only naming two. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Out of that percentage, we only two shows can come to our head out of all the shows, out of all the streaming services, out of the Netflix, the Apple, and all, you know, everything online. You know, so I'm just saying, as a content creator, this is the type of content that I want to create. You're not wrong for telling your story because the hood is real. Some of those stories are real. I'm just saying, for me and the responsibility that I want, that's why me and Quay made Look in the Mirror, the conversation. As content creators, we wanted to talk about difficult topics in a different light to give a different spin. And because we came together, it allowed all of us to be on this platform to talk about these triggering topics that most of the time we can't get a conversation with. Is it only me, or is it hard to find people to have this type of conversation in a safe environment to tell your truth without being cussed out, disrespected, or anything else? You see what I'm saying? Oh, Black Lightning is fire. Yeah,
Black Lightning,
Black Lightning, great show too. Love that show. But what my thing is, it's very few in between. But guess what? Our history is rich. You know how many inventions that was taken from us that we didn't get credit for? Our history is so rich. Where is our stories? And it reminds me of Muhammad Ali when he was talking about boxing, like, and he went to church. He was like, why are all the disciples white? Why are all the angels white? Why is everything around here white? Where is anybody that looks like me? Where is my representation? That's why people might say Obama didn't do too much for black people in office. His representation, to me, is important to me. Kamala has locked up a lot of black people, but her representation for your little black girls to say I can be vice president is beautiful to me. I don't care how about no one else feels about it. I'm just saying the representation for me. That's why when Black Panther hit, oh my God, Black Panther unlocked countries that we've never shown that film in, because it was a representation of us and how rich and how beautiful our culture is, because we've been robbed, we've been deprived, and to be honest, we don't even know who the fuck we are. So I want to tell those stories that haven't been told about who we are, about your ancestors, about how we invented this and how we created this and the struggles that we had to go through to be able to be where we are today. Because truthfully, if you look at it, none of us should really be here right now. Truthfully, from everything that we've been through, we have survived. We are the survivors of the fittest. It's in our DNA, from the boat, from the Moors that was here, from oppression, from being raped, from being beaten, from racism, from everything. We are still here today. So I commend all of y'all being here today, telling y'all story, telling y'all truth, living in y'all truth, having y'all opinion, having a standard, and giving your opinion right now on this show. Because Joe, Tristina, Chloe, Tosh, Ashley, Nicole, Shirley, y'all opinion will make an impact on someone. I can't talk to someone the same way Ashley talks to him, or the same way Tosh or Joe. Everybody's voice and opinion will touch someone else differently. So I appreciate you guys being the spark to the flame to ignite the youth, because conversations like these, examples like these, this probably will never go viral. Never. But as long as we can get 1 or 2 people or 3 people to start changing their life, to start looking in the mirror, to start having conversations differently, then I feel like we've done something. Because it's amazing. If we were all right now shaking our ass, well, we'll get 1 million views. Well, you're talking about 10 people in the party and they all shaking their butt. Oh, it'll go viral. No questions. But when you talk about something educational, something that can change somebody's mind, change someone's perspective about life, oh, don't nobody want to hear that. Anybody can't talk about that. But we're doing it. So we're going to make it happen.
Let me ask this question, Lo. So you this is the question for Tasha. So Tasha, you looked up when he said Kamala. You ain't want to say nothing, did you, Tasha?
I will say something. I wasn't going to, but I will say something. I think that I understand the representation and the need for it, but I also think that when you have people like Kamala, who made it into the White House in this way, with the background of locking up so many Black people, the representation is not enough in that instance. Because to me, the question is, so are you a sellout? So you're gonna turn your back on your people to get to here? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you to have that behind you, it does chip away at it for me. It's kind of like if Barack had been elected and had a white wife, it'd have been slightly a little bit not as out cold. I mean, these just the personal facts. It's technically opinion, but personal facts. Like, so I was excited to see Trump go, but I wasn't popping bottles and streamers for Kamala. Like, it's cute. You AKA, that's cute. That's nice. You know, little girls walking, you know, my vice president is Black, and it's so dope. But sis was locking people up for marijuana. Like, I help me understand. So that was just why I had to. That's why I made a face. Quasi saw me make a face because I looked up like.
No. I saw you make the face. I agree with you. Here's my thing. Was I excited for Trump to go? Yes, I was excited for Trump to go. What bothered me and what I didn't understand was why people were twerking in the street. Ain't no laws been passed. Ain't no laws changed. I mean, just because they play it. I mean, I feel like as a people, sometimes we get so excited over table scraps.
Right.
Oh, they're putting Black Lives Matter on a building. The NBA says they care. The NFL said they care, but yet Colin Kaepernick is still blackballed. You know what I'm saying? We get excited about little small things. Now, I can understand if we had some laws that change. I can understand if we had some new rules of engagement. You know, so for me, that's a whole different conversation. You know what I mean? But later on in life, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, because we haven't had that representation to be able to see that as a kid, be able to see that and say, hey, that's something I aim at that I want to be. You know what I mean? Because before we would never thought we'd have a Black president. I never thought I would be one in my life, but to be able to actually see it, the impact of seeing it. Not that, you know what I'm saying? So I do agree with how she got there and locking Black, you know, of course, I got wrongfully jumped by the police, so of course I'm not cool with that. But I'm just saying, for a little girl to see a Black woman in that position of power, a Black woman being in that position of power, to me is beautiful, because now Black women don't only have to feel like there's only a level that they can get to. You know what I'm saying?
It is, but we still got to talk. I guess I want to see it where we don't have to talk to our kids behind this deal. Like, wow, no Kamala won, but let me tell you what happened. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see it where we ain't got to have a narration behind it. We ain't got to.
I agree.
You
I agree with that.
But the door got to get open some way. The door got to open somehow. Now that it's open, we need to continue to walk through it. We need to bust it wide open, you know? So I think they'll start being more Black women running, because right now, if you look at it, at one point in time, Black women were it's still not one point in time, it's still the most hated woman in the world. That's just my opinion. You ain't got to agree with it. So what? But even despite that, highest college graduation rate, highest entrepreneur rate. So I think that momentum is starting to change, and we'll start to see more Black women in these positions of power, because they are setting themselves up to be like that.
I want to see Blackity Black women, though, like Sister Soldier Blackity Black. Like, where I want to see somebody that's a true representation of Blackness, like full throttle.
You don't think Michelle Obama? You don't think Michelle Obama said? You don't think Michelle Obama said?
She ain't in the White House no more.
I know that, but she was the first lady.
I said that. I said just like if Barack had been married twice, and it would have been just a little bittersweet. It wouldn't have been as dope. But yes, they brought it full circle. That they were a full Black family. They are Black. They Black things to me. But it doesn't. That's not enough. We still got to get it up there where when they show you the list of presidents, it's not everybody white and then like literally 2 ink spots. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta see I know we gotta crawl before we walk, but it's hard to get excited, is what I'm saying.
How we gonna get there? We twerking in Morton's.
I would love to know. I would love to know. But I also think back to the man who owned the restaurant. You know, I also think too, you know, a part of owning business is not just having a good idea and having the money to bring the idea to fruition. People ain't studying. They not getting with consultants. They're not doing due diligence about what it means to run and operate a business, about customer service, about quality control, just putting any old food item out here, or the constant running out of items. Like, we just get an idea, we get the money or the funding to back it, and full steam ahead. And we don't have a lot of those little I's that we need to dot and those T's that we need to cross. And I feel like that was another part of that gentleman's frustration, because I think I am assuming if he had a mentor, or if he was working with someone closely, they would already run these type of scenarios by him. So what you gonna do when some melee breaks out at your spot? What you gonna do when you got somebody breaking the rules? How you gonna handle it? I mean, they teach you that on the white hand job, how you gotta conduct yourself under pressure and not act a certain way. We get told, one of my friends got told at work, you speak with aggressive confidence. What the fuck is that? What is aggressive confidence? Like, please let me know.
That's that bullshit that try to bamboozle you into not being who you are. That's that manipulation.
So if we're gonna go out here and have our own, we also got to make sure, because eventually we want to take off the black businesses and just be businesses. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's important to have the distinction, but at the same time, you don't want people, when they say bad things about your establishment, to be like, that's why you can't support black businesses. No, this is why you can't support bad businesses.
Right.
But that's the mentality. People gonna do that. Let's just be honest. We saying a lot of stuff, but it ain't gonna happen, because people are going to say that's why I don't support black business. Because who said that earlier? That's in them. They don't have nothing to do with the black business owner. That's in them. If you have a problem with black establishment, it's something, I can't, that's why I don't never support black people. That's in you. They don't have nothing to do with the person. A person should be proud to say, I'm a black business owner, because you know how much work they have to put in to become a black business owner. We have to work 10 times as hard to own anything. That's why I hear what you're saying, Tasha, but I can't completely agree with he don't have no mentor and this, that, and the third. Until you put in a situation where somebody is threatening your business or damaging your business or impacting business that you've worked 10 times harder to get, you can't say how somebody gonna react to that. And I want to go back to the point that Kwesi made. That young man, his feelings was hurt because he put that business out, yes, to make money, obviously, but he put that business together for us to have something. That's why he said that. This is for us to have some place nice to go that is for us. So to have someone that looked like us come in his place and, be disrespected. It's like, dog, I did this for us. Like, I'm out here trying to make sure we have something nice. Like, they'll never want to give us nothing that's for us. And now you up in here, and I'm trying to be cool by talking to you first before kicking you out. We said, why did he just do that? But maybe he didn't want to kick them out. Maybe he didn't want to have to call the police on a black woman. Maybe he didn't want to have to turn it into that. Like, maybe he was trying not to have to go there. Maybe he thought I could just talk to them and maybe they would just have enough respect for me to not do it. And that it just didn't work that way. So while I agree, maybe he didn't have to get to the level of cursing. We have to also, we got to give these women some accountability for their behavior. We cannot scapegoat. We cannot excuse. I'm kind of over making the victim the problem. And we do that a lot in this society. We victimize.
I gotta check off, guys. You guys have a good night. Y'all take care.
Bye, Joe.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks. But we make the victim a lot of times a part of the problem. We do that a lot. We victimize the victim. And I think we see it so much in the media that now we're doing it to each other. That's the first thing the media does when another black man gets murdered or a black woman or something happens. The very first thing they do is, he had a horrible childhood. He used to smoke crack. anything they can do to demonize or destroy their character, that's what they do. So much so that we're now doing that to each other. Now you'll hear a Black person say that, oh, I heard he used to sell drugs. Oh, I heard he got in trouble one time when he was 17, even though he's 32 now. Like it's stuff like that. It's like, we got to stop doing that. I'm not saying that he couldn't have communicated a different way. I mean, I think we all know he could have communicated a different way. But I think that now trying to go to the point of, maybe he needed to have some mentoring or understanding, or, I think that's a reach, because I feel like this man, we have no idea how many man hours he put into this. And I think let's not do that to him. Like, I feel like, we don't know about his food. We don't know if he didn't have any problems with his food. We don't know if he got any QC problems. Like, we don't know none of that.
Well, I'm
and
saying
I'm not
for
saying
all
we haven't
business owners in
experienced that
general.
I think
before.
that's a general statement, Chloe. I
But
think that's
we
just
don't,
It was for all business owners. It was for all
not
business
but I
owners
mean,
his
in
business
general.
specifically,
Like,
just
yeah,
general.
but I've been
because
into
he
my
stood
point is. My
Go
point
ahead.
is, it's a mindset. That's the point. I'm speaking to the mindset. Like, I done been in a lot of businesses that ain't Black owned, that they don't know how to talk to you either. I done been in a lot of businesses that's not Black owned, that don't QC their product. I done been in a lot of businesses that's not, so my thing is, we had a panelist on a few weeks back that said he would deal with a Black person even if they late, don't know how to show up on time, maybe the product ain't on. Now, I'm not saying we gotta go that far, but I'm just simply saying that it's about maybe having some grace for your fellow Black man or Black woman, because you know what they had to do to get where they at. So maybe we have just a little bit more grace for them, because we know it's not easy to be in a position that we in. We don't know what that man had to go through to get that building, to get that place. So maybe having a little bit of grace for him and what he did, considering she was acting a fool. Like, she just straight up was. Like, let's not be so quick to, what I'm
Well, I
saying,
say it's a
demonize
learning
my man.
experience for them both. I feel like it's a learning experience for them both.
I'm listening.
No, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. That I just feel like it was a learning experience for them both. I don't think he needs to be raked over the coals, and people should not support the restaurant. But it's a learning experience. You see now how losing your head now is going viral, because these are the times that we live in, and it's just something to make somebody a little bit more cognizant, because I feel like he has more to lose as the business owner than she did as the person who's going to get kicked out or not kicked out, because she'll go twerk at the next place. And so,
Well, truth be told, I know people who live in Dallas who are trying to go to the restaurant, who are supporting him. So they can't even get through to his phone right now. So he gonna be good. Honestly, the fact of the matter is, I'm gonna still stay in my stance. I feel as both. I feel like, again, the verbiage he used kind of bad, but also I'm gonna say it. If you don't want people to twerk, and some people don't have the wherewithal, don't play twerk music. You're not gonna twerk to Sade. You're not gonna twerk Luther. If you are, that's really a problem with me. But I'm just saying.
I don't like that, Nina. I don't like that.
I'm just saying. But I'm saying, if you're a business owner, and I understand you want to make a business for us, for our people. We love all types of music, But at the same time, is that if you don't want that club atmosphere, don't play club music. Don't play strip club music. Period.
And for all business owners, because you don't want Black people to think that you can do customer service like that. Now, I believe in having grace, but at the same time, when I watch the video and I look at his energy, outside of the words, I'm like, okay. And then it turned out where it was being recorded, so there was a component of a lot of people are going to see this, so that went into the cap a little bit, and some of the grand curse words and all that. So you didn't have the best intentions for us, actually, because you knew this was going to go viral, and you had somebody else recording it as well before you even walked out. So it was kind of the blow up was kind of pre-planned, and with that context, that changed my perspective a little bit. But we do have more to lose because we work 10 times harder, which is why in some instances, you do need to be careful, because calling security on someone, you don't even have to call police, because security is a different thing to have somebody escorted out. You don't have to get police involved.
Right.
Fundamental purpose for on owner not even just about, oh, if girls are twerking. What if some guys were drunk and unruly? People have been killed approaching people the wrong way. You always, that middleman is there to help for all of those things. Now, you wanted to go viral when prep to record your speech, that you were profound speech, which congratulations, it did well. It went viral. It did what he wanted them to do. There are a million platforms going live talking about this every day. Every time I log in, somebody talking about it. People talking about the state of Black women and all of that. So the discussion is there. And like Tristina said, he will be good. You know, people are going out to support. They're against the girl's actions. But you got to watch out what you do in the heat of your emotions, because you can, when drunk, you start cursing them out. They're drunk. You could put all your patrons at risk.
Right.
They have a weapon. They start shooting up the restaurant. Somebody dies. They start fighting. Someone hurt. You might say something that could be considered discriminatory in the heat of the moment, not even thinking. And now you got a discrimination lawsuit because you done said something about Black women. And now they can go back and say, well, we were discriminated against in this. And now we have this video footage as well. And I don't think any Black business owner should look at that and think, okay, because I have grace for him and I forgive, but let me go check somebody like that too. I think it's I don't think that's a good practice. I think he should have utilized having security escort them out. You don't even have to call the police for all of that. But like I said, because I knew it was premeditated, because they went back and the person did expose themselves, he had somebody that was going to record that speech anyway. So knowing that that was premeditated with the intent to go on the internet to make a
I didn't know that part.
I didn't know that part either.
All the good intentions go out the door for me. It's not about, oh, I did this for us. No, you.
Yeah, that's totally different now that you said it was premeditated.
Okay, hold on. That's assumptions. Could they just been having
we making a lot of assumptions. But how do we not know? So we know for a fact that he only recorded the video for him to go viral. We don't know at all that he recorded the video so that he could have evidence of this particular situation going down. Like, we don't know that he wasn't doing it for his own protection or for him to. We know
that. It's that's just my opinion, because from assessing the situation and looking at, like I said, I'm an actress, but I have a lot of friends who are like very, very famous online in different social realms like Vine, TikTok, and all that. They have millions of followers. People recognize all the time. I know how the antics work when you're planning something, and everything they do is premeditated. You go out somewhere, you can tell when they're going to have someone record something, and based off of what I saw in the other angles that were taken and in his delivery, because as an actress as well, like, I can tell when something's coming off of the rip or if something's practiced. And at the end of just my assessment of the whole thing, and him having that person record that before he walked out, then it's premeditated. So once you add the component of, oh, then this didn't just spontaneously escalate, I'm also prepping to go give this speech, that changes the intentions for me. Now, I still extend grace because they shouldn't have been acting like that. I do believe there's a level of accountability. Like I said, I would never twerk at a you really ain't even gonna see me twerk anywhere, but I would never twerk at a restaurant. I don't condone what they're doing, and I really side eye. I don't have friends that act like that. I don't even communicate with women that do stuff like that, because I just feel like they don't have enough respect for themselves. They're the type to say all men ain't shit or all men try. Like that type of vibe, the type that feel like they have to lose. Because I wouldn't even want to be caught on camera doing something like that. But at the same time, as the business owner, you do have more to lose. And in the heat of an emotional moment like that, so much can go wrong, especially being recorded. Lawsuit. I don't think he would approach a table of Black men that was drunk that same way.
I look at it like this, right? I think that you bring up an excellent point, but I think Tosh brought up an excellent point too when she was talking about the paperwork instead of just about the insurance and about having to pay for things. About having security come and say, hey, it's time for you guys to go. You know, like if you get drunk at a bar and they say, hey, you had one too many drinks, we need you to go ahead and leave. I do understand the police situation, because police have been called on Black people often that we've saw, and it went wrong. And it was actually the Black people that actually called the police for help, and they were the ones who actually got taken down, arrested, beaten, and everything else. So we've seen those situations go wrong. Prime example, I live here. My the manager of the apartment called the police on a young boy dribbling the basketball downstairs, right? And I go downstairs and I'm like, why would you call the police on a boy because he's dribbling a basketball? Now you don't know what could have been the results of that situation when the police arrive and they see a young black male. That could have went extremely wrong. And people don't believe it's real until it's real. And then when it's real, it's already too late. So I can understand the situation of not just automatically wanting to say, let's bring in law enforcement, because it hasn't always been so favorable, especially when it comes to us. But I do think that at the same time, look, it's time for you to go. I've asked you multiple times.
Right.
It's time to go. And here's the damage for the couch, because you're standing up in this man's couch that he paid for with your heels on after I asked you multiple times and everything else. So now, hey, can you put table 12? Can you please go ahead and escort them off the premises? You know what I mean? I think there's a better way to do that than just, no, motherfucker, get the fuck out. I think that's protocol, because I don't think in certain establishments, I know in certain establishments that's not how it's handled.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know in certain establishments they'll say, excuse me, you're too drunk, you've had too much, it's time for you to leave. And then if you don't act accordingly, then when security is leaving, then it changes into more of a hostile situation, because now you're being defiant to security.
Right.
So, but I do agree with Kwesi. I do believe that the man was hurt to be black, to be a black business owner, and what you have to do to have that situation. Not only to do that, but try to create a better environment for an establishment that we don't have. To say, hey, and I do like the fact that he did say he held men accountable, and I do like the fact of why he said why it was so many women there. I think he said it was 75%. Is that right, Queen?
Yeah, 75. Yeah.
And why it was that, and it was probably that because he created this safe environment for women to be able to feel like they could come here, have a good time in a nice space with a nice feng shui, with a nice vibe, and not have to be around. So to keep that standard, I think that he should have the security that Tosh was talking about to be able to continue to have this situation, so that way he can avoid those type of, you know what I'm saying, scenarios that's viral now.
Because people don't care. Because people don't care. He came from his heart, but she ain't care. She was, like I said, she'll be at the next restaurant doing the same shit because that's how she is. So,
right. That's not a reflection of him.
You shouldn't open a restaurant that offers alcohol if you're not prepared for hecklers. Any restaurant owner, like with Tosh, what you were talking about, I don't know if mentor was the right, I don't know if you meant mentor, but you do get briefed on that.
I mean, like consultants and people that teach you how to run your business, so you don't get in your feelings.
Alcohol, that's gonna happen. You see white wasted the counters, all that. If you offer an establishment, they will. You do 100% have to go through that, and you have to pass the test.
Let me grab this comment real quick. So Peter says, I think he's saying, I don't think it was premeditated. Most people got that instinct, like, yeah, that table over there is getting crazy again. Oh, here comes the owner and he looks pissed. Let's record this just in case something happens. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you on that, Peter. I don't necessarily think it was premeditated either. I just think the owner was responding to what the situation was. I think the owner was passionate about his business, essentially, and let's say he wanted to essentially try to work with those girls, because I don't really think he wanted to throw them out, to be honest with you. But two, I do want to touch on something else. We keep mentioning security, right? So I think the other thing that we also have to consider is, for a lot of people, security is a turnoff. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I walk up to a place and I see the security T-shirt and cargo pants and the flashlight and the gun on the back, or whatever the security looking like, I might just go and pass on that one, because see, that tells me that there's possibly already issues at this establishment. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a fan of security right now. I mean, I guess in his instance, if he wanted to dress it up and he may have some type of security and they suited and they, you know what I'm saying, some professional gentlemen, that's one thing. But when you start talking about security, you know, you also got to consider, you got to do that right as well. Because I said security is not always done right, and it can become a turnoff. And if you're talking about a restaurant that's 75% female consumer, you got to approach things differently, right? So I'm sure that's probably one of his main reasons for not running to call the cops. Like I said, you got to primarily say that again.
I said, I used to do security. I still have my guard card or whatever else, right? So what you're talking about is security in front of the club with the T-shirt, the flashlight, and everything else, right? I don't think that it would be the proper security for that type of establishment. But I will say different establishments and different high-end establishments do have different type of securities for different type of situations. So I'm not saying that you got to have the big buff dude and they sitting in front of the door with the t-shirt. No, because that's offensive to someone who wants to come in and just try to relax and have a good time. But you do have undercover security in scenarios in high class and high end restaurants, just like you have them if you go into the mall and you go into a jewelry store, they have high end, high class, and they're wearing business suits and they're looking very elegant just as well. So it doesn't interrupt the vibe or whatever else. I'm just saying, I think that there should be standards and rules in place so that way it's very clear of the type of environment that you're in so you can act accordingly, because each place has its own set of rules. And if this is the set of rules and you go in there and you're defiant to the rules, because the young man came out, right? As a business owner, right, Quay? Because you're a businessman as well. Should you have to be the person to come out, to go to the table, to tell someone how to behave in your place?
No, so technically, no, you shouldn't, because your manager should be handling that, right?
So something in this managerial structure and what is it called? His standard operating procedure book. There's a piece missing, because the owner of the place should never have to be the one to go talk to the customers. So somewhere in his standard operating procedure, that's what we call it in the military, right? SOP, standard operating procedure. Something is missing that where the owner had to come do someone else's job. Someone else should have been
hold on. Not necessarily. So let me respond to that.
That's just my opinion as a business owner. I don't think it should have to be me. I think that I should have someone employed to be able to take care of that, to be able to go out to speak to consumers who are acting in a rowdy behavior or not conducting themselves in that manner.
Be hands-on. In his defense, he might be hands-on because a lot of us, we miss those, which is why we get a lot of bad customer service rep, because we can afford that middleman. We don't get the service company to, delegate. So he might not be in the financial place to be able to outsource or have that chain of command, and he might really be the one back there making it happen. So that's why you come out. And it was multiple complaints too. So eventually, like the manager, they could come back.
Yeah, like I said, just to respond to that. So that, even though I'm sure, knowing this guy, because I can just kind of look at the establishment, so he probably does have the structure in place, right? But I think the difference with this particular guy is, because I've seen this before. There's a place that I frequent right now, and the owner comes out all the time. I mean, and it really just comes down to the fact that he's just passionate about his business. So instead of being a hands-off owner, the owner at the place that we frequent all the time, he comes out all the time. So he's shaking hands. He's checking on your meal. How was your meal? You need to top your drink off, because he's engaging with his customer base, right? And I think that's what this guy is doing well. Just basically listening to his verbiage. For me, I can tell he's passionate about the experience that his female customers have at his establishment. Right. I can listen to him talk and tell that that's a priority from him. He's not a hands-off guy. So I think that's why he took it so heavy, to make sure he came out and had to say something to these ladies, because he's like, man, I'm trying to do something for y'all. Like, you just disrespecting the joint. And I think that's really what got him out there, and why he wanted to engage on that. Because I said, if you look around, you can see other people in the different video feeds that have came out from this situation. There's other management in those feeds if you just look. But I just think my man is passionate about his business, and that's what we saw on that tape.
That's a fair assessment. I'm not saying my way is the only way. I'm saying that possibly could be something to help him from preventing to have to do that as well. But there's nothing wrong with an owner being passionate, meeting and greeting the customers, creating a relationship with the people that come into his shop, because the more personalized it is, the more people might want to be able to enjoy that, because they know it's personalized. So I don't want to take that from him. I'm just looking at the whole spectrum, you know what I mean? Two different sides of the coin or whatever else. But I agree with your point. I think it was an amazing point.
Yeah, go ahead, Ashley. I can see you want to say something. Go ahead, Ashley.
Oh no, I was agreeing with you. I just personally, I think people who are women centered, like you bring up the 75, it caters to women. It does, but that quick. He did go back 2 times, curse them out at the level at which he cursed them out. I feel like it's just, you can't respect that. I feel like there's certain men who have a certain level of respect for women. They'll get angry. They'll get upset. I'll give them the grace. Like, you're human. But the way that he cursed them out, for me, it just was, it was a bit much. a racist white establishment, like even talk. I would rather personally you call the police on a man speak to me that way, but everybody else does different, and we're all different. Even though we're all Black, we're different
It's
demographics.
cutting in and out just a little bit.
We're different demographics, so we might extend grace in different ways. You may hear it and see like, well, all you may only see hurt in the situation. For me, I may see something a little different. And we have different non-negotiables. Like the cursing thing for me is really big because I'm like, wow, they're not cursing you out. They're doing a couple of things, and you run the restaurant. Alcohol, that's a risk that comes with any establishment that offers alcohol, and now the world is talking about Black women. So me, of course, I'm naturally going to be more against him because every time I've come on social media in the past, negative about Black women when I know white bitches that's gotten way out of line at a sports bar, shit wasted, almost fucking having sex in the corner, drunk, smelling like whatever the hell. And I haven't seen a narrative come up. What's up about white women in these clubs and da 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 da? But in this little bit of time, everybody and their mama are talking about Black women because of this group. There's always going to be that percentage that's bound to turn up no matter what. They'll twerk at a funeral. It's always going to be generalized conversation about Black women. For me, it just feels like, damn, we're only always going to be as evolved as our weakest link. Like there could be 50 Michelle Obamas. One person twerking go viral. What's up with Black women to the state of system?
Well, I hear you, and I agree to a certain extent, but I think there's a bigger problem. I think that's why this conversation needs to happen, right? Like, I know we've been talking about this one situation, but really, this is like a bigger problem, right? Which is why we need to have this conversation because it's a bigger issue. Like, I hear you saying the way he spoke to them, and all I can think of is, and I'm not saying any of the women on this panel are this. I'm speaking in general, but all I can think of is Black women. Yeah, but I'm sorry. I can't give you that because you let these rappers and dudes up on the street pull up on you and say way worse. Like the way that Black women, the way that Black women accept certain things in certain situations is crazy how it gets situational, right? Like you can have a dude, even the song that he was playing. Like, let's just be honest. Like even the song that he was playing, like it was disrespectful, but it was hot, right? Like you was on the glass, you was shaking, like you was into it, like it was hot. That's disrespectful. So until we can level up and raise up, like I said, a standard for ourselves, until we can do that, I think it's kind of laughable almost that we can get, in our feelings when a man gets disrespectful, but we support disrespectful men. Like we support disrespectful men. We support in general. Black women, we support men disrespecting us. We go to their concerts, we go to their shows, and I'm not speaking for every Black woman. I'm saying in general, we support Black men being disrespectful to us. And I'm not accepting nobody telling me no different. We accept that. We accept being all types of bees. You my hoe, you this, that, and we accept that. We accept it. We support these guys as artists. We buy their music. And I'm speaking in general. I'm not speaking specifically to the women on this panel. But in general, we support that. And then when a Black man, and I'm not saying he right, please understand. I'm just calling out the behavior. But then when a Black man behaves that way in this scenario, we're triggered. He's not right, okay? But neither are we in general for not raising up a standard and not allowing it and not being okay with being disrespected in any kind of way. Like we should not be okay with being disrespected in no kind of way.
But why do white women can disrespect themselves, and I don't think they would have been.
You know what? In all due respect, actually, I'm not talking about white women right now. I don't care about white women right now. I care about Black women. We as Black women, I'm speaking to my community. We as Black women can't be okay with being disrespectful. We cannot with being disrespected. Black women. I don't care about white women. White women gonna do what white women gonna do.
Black women are not a duolith. When we say we, you're putting so many people in one bucket. and it's also,
that's why I said general. That's why I said general. Obviously, I'm not speaking for every single person. Obviously, I can't personally speak for every single Black woman.
One at a time.
I'm
One at a
speaking
time,
in
so both
general.
people can get their points out. One at a time.
I hear what she's saying for sure. It's also subjective in perspective, because my opinion of the general Black woman is not the same as hers. So at the end of the day, that's not a universal thing.
I call it how I see it.
And that's how you see it, and I respect that. But you also have to consider that what you see may not be universal, because my lens is a little bit different. It doesn't mean mine is right. It doesn't mean one of us is more correct, because a lot of these rappers and these people, they have predominantly non-Black audiences and supporters.
Right.
When you go to their concerts, you see a local concert, it's all white people in the front. I'm like, a percentage of their audience is also that, and a lot of white people and white women and other people listen to that disrespect as well. But I hear that's general for you. That's not the general Black woman that I know and that I see, but my surrounding it could be different. So I don't want to like miss your perspective. But at the
No,
same time,
no, Ash.
It's okay. Wait.
No,
It's okay for hold tight.
I'm
It's
not.
okay for you guys.
First of all, I'm not surrounded by. No, wait. I gotta answer this. I'm not surrounded by whatever you think I'm surrounded by. What I'm telling you, what I'm saying is, which no, because she's saying you're in like the people that's what you see, and you're saying what you're exposed to or what you see or what you are around, your worldview. But my worldview, I'm looking at the same social media posts you're looking at, and no, I don't even follow Shade Room. I don't even follow Shade Room, so I'm not talking about that. But I see the same viral posts that you see, because when it goes viral, it's everywhere. So I see the same viral posts you see.
When it comes to social media,
I see the same.
Hold on.
Let me get this out, because I'm responding. Ashley and I are kind of having a dialogue. So what I'm saying is, I see the same social media posts that go viral. They go viral. So we all seeing them. They everywhere. I see those same posts that you guys are seeing. Okay. I see the same news stories that you guys are seeing. I see that same stuff. I also see and hear the music. And we cannot sit here and act like, yes, of course, white people listen to the music. Of course, they love it. They love to see us get clown, be represented that way. They love it. They eat it up. But I'm not really talking about what white people are doing right now. I understand that they're going to be able to go out and act a complete butt. And it's like the world doesn't care. I understand that. I'm speaking to my community, like I think this show largely does. I am speaking to my community, Black women. We have to raise up a stand. And you don't have to agree with me, but I'm going to say this every show. Black women, we have to lift up a standard for ourselves. We have to stop taking disrespect in all forms. We have to stop, by and large, that's obviously not every single Black woman, but by and large, we have to stop supporting being okay and being silent about disrespect. And then when it's at the hands or the mouth of a Black man, we decide in certain situations, we decide that now is the time for us to be triggered, because the larger issue is there is this something that exists between Black men and Black women in general. There's this, so we've talked about it on this show many times. There's this something that exists between Black men and Black women, almost like we do this all the time. And I feel like, unfortunately, it's something that is PTSD. It is there. And I feel like it stems up in situations like this. That's why a lot of Black women saw that. And the first thing they said, oh, how dare he say what he said? Not supporting this man cussing at nobody. But that's the first thing that it took them to that place. How dare this Black man talk to this Black woman like this? And I'm just saying, I am simply saying, Black women, we have to start expecting and raising up a standard for ourselves.
I agree.
And expecting people to meet that standard consistently, so that we don't have these situations where anyone, Black or white or anybody, feels as though they're going to be able to come at us, and that's going to be okay. Like we can, I'm not saying we're going to change everybody's mindset overnight, but we can have some control over that, especially within our own community with our own men. Like we got to do something different, because what we're doing right now don't work.
All right, go ahead, Ashley. Go ahead, Ashley.
No, I agree with the majority of what you're saying. I actually went on Instagram Live, like pushing a lot of those same points, like saying, hey, I don't listen to any Kanye West music or buy streams. I hear it on the radio, I turn it off. Wayne, I turn it off. I'm like, if you see someone disrespect you in this way, make sure that you don't support them as well. Make sure you don't give them that stream. Don't do this. Black women, we have to make sure we do this, because then that'll change that disrespect. Okay, because we're still incentivized. Follow with it, then it's not enough. So it's still not off code to disrespect us. So it's up to us to make it off code to disrespect us by how we present ourselves. I 1,000,000% agree with that. The only part I was really disagreeing with is that I think you have a right to be triggered. Anybody has a right to be triggered from seeing that, just because we're not a monolith. So just because somebody else let a man say whatever, or slap her ass, or be ratchet, I'm triggered by it. A lot of other Black women that I see that I respect and revere are also triggered by it. And I think that the presence of ratchet women, or whether you think they're 50%, 75, 20, whatever percent you think they are, it doesn't invalidate anyone else's perspective of how that video made them feel. I don't care if it's 90%. I'm watching and I'm saying it's wrong, because I don't believe in the new gender fluid stuff where it's like gender fluid isn't the right term, but I don't believe that we're equals. I do believe there's a certain way a man should talk to a woman universally, whether she's down or whether she's in a corporate setting. I do feel like there's certain things that are just complete non-negotiable. So the way that he spoke to her definitely 1,000,000% triggered me, because I know there are certain things, like when I'm having a conversation with someone, with a Black man particularly, it's like there's a certain way that it's gonna go, but then I can't say this, or just because I feel like there has to be some degree of non-negotiable. And like I said, I also don't see that as general Black women. So them in that situation, I can't speak just because somebody else may get beat by a Black man, or let a Black man have, side kids on them and this and that. There's always going to be that percentage, but I'm still triggered by it.
Yeah, no, we can appreciate that. Like I said, at the end of the day, everybody, has their perspective on the situation. Let's say, and no one is wrong, in their perspective. So no, we appreciate that. I'm saying we wanted to be able to, allow both of you to get your points out.
By the way, you'd be shocked. Carlos and I could be in the same place for 2 weeks. All these mutual friends in the world. I keep calling you, I'm sorry, King. And we could see all the same, like be in the same exact household, all the same mutual friends. He has no clue about this thing that's going on, or I have no clue about this thing that went viral, even though it seems like the Black community is just all linked together in these ways. We really aren't seeing the same things, depending on the things that we like and what we engage with and what our common interests are. When we log in, we are not seeing the same thing. Right. So, and it's also about who am I following? Because me and my friends, their content is also going to be pushed toward me, because they're like, oh, you kind of like this. So the algorithm is very much tailored to even slight niche differences is tailored. So
yeah. I think there's a movie about it, isn't it? Isn't it The Social Dilemma?
There's a lot of them about it, but I know.
I'm just talking about that one specifically, where they talk about the different algorithms, and everyone thinks they're seeing the same thing, but everyone's not seeing the same thing. It's catered to basically what you look at, who you follow, who your friends list is, and it allows you to only see certain things. So as much as everyone thinks they're connected, they're actually not. It's actually tailor-made based off of the cookies and the things that you look at or that you spend time looking at.
Yeah, but like I said, that's just from a social media perspective, right? So I think the point that Chloe was making, and it's the same point that I make, we have a degrade that has taken place in the mindset of Black folks. And that goes for women and for men. So, to the point of disrespect, we have plenty of examples outside of this viral moment. Let's just take social media out of there. Yeah. Everybody on this panel can agree that they've seen numerous situations where a Black woman has picked and chose when she was going to allow herself to be disrespected. Let's just
But I
be.
think
Let's
it's
just
biased
be.
when we say that, Quay, because we could say that about any race. But so when we highlight it, I feel like it's almost like
No, no,
black on black crime. You know what I
no.
mean?
It's
We
not a.
highlight us. You know what I
Yeah, no.
mean?
This is not a. This is not a race thing. Because I said at the end of the day, you know where I come from with this, Los. And at the end of the day, I'm about improving the trajectory of black people. That's where my focus is at, right? So I see this stuff. So at the end of the day, we got situations where black women are picking and choosing when they're going to allow themselves to be disrespected, right? And we got situations where black men is picking and choosing when they're going to be men and when they're going to be boys. So that's really what's going on. And that don't matter what circle you roll with or who you around or where you work at or where you stay at. That mess is running rampant all up through our community, which is why we even talking about Ratchet being the new black, because we got way too many examples of what we talking about right now, right? And that's really where the issue lies. We have a mindset issue to where we don't hold the same standards and the importance about being mature, about being, you know, and I like to describe it as being clean, right? It's not important to us anymore to be clean. It's like we don't carry ourselves that clean way that we used to. Like I said, I got so many examples, man. Just looking at old, like just let's look at it from this perspective. Like, so just think about some of them old pictures that you used to look at from your mama and your daddy, right? They show you them old pictures, and it'd be a Friday, man, and they going to the plant, man, with some dress slacks on, going to the plant, going to work. Or you look at some of them other pictures, man, and they just suited up and just the ladies got their dresses on and the kids had little suits on. And you're like, man, it's just Wednesday. Like nowadays, I mean, it's like pulling teeth, man, to get some folks to dress up and get clean out here. But back then it was normal.
Yeah,
So,
I gotta disagree with you on that because you had Ray's Boom Boom Room, you had the Sugar Shack, we had our flaws during that time too.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there was no flaws in there. What I'm saying is there was more of a priority around being clean in what you presented in your brand. That's what I'm talking about. And when you look at it now, that stuff is gone. Like I said, folks is just out here doing anything now, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, that, you know, some of that stuff that you call that stuff you're supposed to stay out of or shouldn't have your hands in, that stuff has always existed. So I'm not denying that, right? I know, you know, I done heard about what's the hot pants and the thigh highs and all that. I done heard all that. I done seen my mama, you know, she done showed my mama, she might be on the show right now. She done showed us some pictures, you know, back when she was a little itty bitty and she was out there, my daddy was sniffing around. I done seen some little booty shorts and all of that. So I know my mama and them used to do that, but my mama and them also used to be clean out here. And she used to have herself and walk in a certain way and present in a certain way and talking to these little young girls that was around her, telling them little young girls how they need to be out here carrying themselves and how they need to be women and this, that, and the third. And the men was talking to the young fellas, even if there was a older cat on the street corner, you know, dealing with some hard times, he still took that opportunity to school them little young fellas in the neighborhood and tell them how they need to carry themselves so they wouldn't end up like him. See, those pieces is what's missing. That whole concept of it takes the village. See, the village is gone. And I think that's what we're seeing now. I think that's why a lady of that lady's age, because that lady, I don't know her age exactly, but I know she was over 20. I think that's why we're in a situation where a lady feels comfortable getting up on a couch in a dinner restaurant, twerking on a glass mirror.
Okay, but here's my thing with that, Quay, right? And I agree with everything you're saying. The part that I have an issue with is the paintbrush. And I have the issue with the paintbrush to make it seem as if all black women are doing that. If all black people are acting that way. I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm not saying that's what Kwesi's saying. I'm saying that's what the system is saying. I'm saying that that's how it's projected across the system, that all black people are this way, that all black people are, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it from that paintbrush. I'm looking at it from the Asian household that looks at black people, the white people, the Mexican. I'm looking at it from the other lens of the paintbrush. So when we say statements like that, that's how a white lady could say, oh, well, Kanye West said nigger and it's supposed to be okay. Or we have a Meg Thee Stallion and people think the Meg Thee Stallion or the Cardi B represents all black women. And I'm saying, you're right with what you're saying. In the crevice of our culture, do we have this part of our culture? Yes, but that is not the major part of our culture, because then that denies the fact of all the women that are graduating college, that are becoming entrepreneurs. That's denying the fact of the black businessman So it's not all of us that act like that. That's one part of the chain. That's not the whole chain. But people will hear this conversation and make that, oh, well, Tristina doing it. Ashley's doing it. Everybody's on this panel is doing it. All Black people are that way. And I just want to, I'm not saying that's what you're saying, Quay. I'm going to say that one more time. I know that's not what you're saying. I'm saying that's what the machine is saying.
No,
that's just like if a black person gets in trouble, Quay, it's on the news for months. A white person does the same crime, you see it 1 or 2 times, and then it's gone. There's a difference in how it's portrayed in the society of the media, and that's the only portion that I'm addressing, how the media portrays this situation. Because you don't see this same scenario when white folks are doing it. When was the last time you seen a white video like this go viral like that? Because white folks out there twerking too. But you don't. But when it's us, it's going to be magnified to the 100th degree to paint a picture to make it seem like it's all of us. And it's not all of us. And that's why I agree with Ashley's point about the weakest link of the chain, because Chloe ain't out there doing that. But someone will see Chloe in the street and be like, oh, she's just like the other black girl that was twerking in the. No, she's not. Tristina, no, she's not. So I don't want to let someone take one person's action to paint that across all the black women and disrespect the ones that are getting their degrees, that are becoming entrepreneurs, that are VPs, that are bosses, that are handling their business, that are amazing. I don't want to let that one piece, you know what I'm saying, take. You know what? I'm going to take Carlos's mistake and say all black men are like Carlos. I'm going to take Quasi's mistake and say all black men are like Quasi. No, that's not cool. That's not okay. So I agree with everything that you said, but I'm just talking about it from a systemic system, media oppression that placed upon our people. No, you won't say that I'm like this person. No, you won't say I'm like this other person running around the street gangbanging because I'm not a gangbanger. So no, I won't let you say all black men are gangbangers. All black men are dangerous. All black women are this. No, we're not.
Right.
That is a percentage of someone who wanted to act ignorant that day. That is not one woman on this panel right now. So no, you won't take her actions and blame it on all black women. That's my only point.
I can tell you that's definitely the perspective that I take being an educated female. That's the first mindset. I'm like, well, why did you do this? Nah, I look bad and all this other type of stuff.
Deal with
another damn thing I gotta defend or overhear some conversation about and jump in. So my
it's exhausting. I remember Miss Times
for sure. It's like
that situation sets back a Chloe, a Tristina, a Ashley, a Nicole, because now everyone wants to try to use that one situation and refer it to them.
Oh, it does. And you hear it in the office, and I'm like, talk about or do not talk.
Go ahead, ladies.
I agree with Quasi about how there is specifically in the black community, we are noticing that dissent and that really distinct dissent. And I do hear what you're saying, but I want you to consider, and this is something I want to say for Chloe as well. Bringing up other races isn't always a deflection. The reason I want you to consider that sometimes the answer to why, because I feel like when it happens in the black community, we're like, well, we only want to talk about black people. I'm trying to help my people, so I only want to hear about this. But sometimes we fail to understand when there's a universal thing going on. So if we look outside of ourselves as well, some things are unique to us. There are some things where it's, oh, this is a black thing. But if we look and we say, okay, has their class changed? Because white people operated out of a high class and family name state as well back in that same era. If you look at their history and you see, okay, and this is what they're doing now, and then you look, and then you might say, oh, okay, an underlying and recurring motif is social media, or an underlying or recurring motif is this engagement or people monetizing different things, or just so many underlying factors that go into it. Not, like I said, not always, but I just want you to know, I'm not dismissing your fact or trying to off of empowering black people. Some other races doing something too. I'm not trying to deflect. I'm just saying this. Sometimes we miss what that underlying cause is by only looking for it in our race.
I get that. I think I didn't really take it as you were deflecting. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think that, but there's obviously an inequality that we know unfortunately exists. Like other races can do anything, really, anything, the same exact thing that we do, and we're always going to be persecuted for it. It's always going to be all over the news. It's always going to be more negatively looked at, always. I get my reason for saying that point was because it's not that it doesn't matter what they're doing, it's that I want to take some time for us as a community to talk about things that affect us as a community, because what I feel like happens is, just like we don't want people saying all lives matter. We're talking about Black Lives Matter. I
Right.
sort of feel like this is one of those moments. Like, I need us to figure out as a community why we, not why they, why we are experiencing this particular thing between us. You know what I mean? Like, I want us to talk about why we, Black men, Black women, like, why are we experiencing this? That really don't have, like, I mean, I'm not saying they don't play a part in our post-traumatic slavery disorder. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that right now, I want to know why are we having this problem? So let's try to figure out what's happening to cause this, and maybe we can get some healing or a solution. I don't know if this is the moment for us to say, well, they do this and they do that. I mean, we know that they always demonize us and criminalize us. It doesn't matter what it is. They always find a way to demonize us and criminalize us. But I think I'm looking at it like, speaking specifically to why he felt comfortable cursing at these women, and why she felt comfortable getting up on this couch and twerking on this glass. Like, that we need to get to, why is this happening? That's why the topic is Ratchet the New Black. Like, obviously we know that that's not true. Ratchet is not the new Black, but there is a problem though. Like, what can we get to some type of understanding of why this is? I can't even call it the majority of Black women. I wouldn't even say it's the majority of Black women. It's obviously not, but we got to figure out what it is though, because unfortunately, these are the Black women that's influencing the young girls that's got to come up behind us. It's not, unfortunately, it's not the Michelle Obama types, or it's not those types that's influencing the young women that's coming behind us. It's these others, so it's like, I feel like even having the conversation is progress, right? Because we get to talk about it and we get to expose that it's a problem. We get to talk about it. We get to say, this is not what you want to do. And we get to talk about it. And it's that moment where, even if we don't, obviously we're not going to solve the problem tonight, but if somebody can see this conversation and just think about the behaviors, like, maybe it could plant a seed, because at the end of the day, there is a problem. Like, him speaking the way he speaks to her, and her feel like it's okay to behave in public in that setting in that way. Like, just trying to understand that. Like, and I didn't want. I'm like, well, maybe we definitely need to have the conversation about how other ethnicities and the way they view us affects us, because it does affect us. But I feel like this is a good moment for us to try to figure out how to work on our relationship as Black men and Black women as well, and what's happening with that.
And I think ultimately though, we got to get back to a point where we are holding ourselves accountable. Using your example, Los, if we ain't giving these cats no paint, then they can't make no portraits. It's just that simple. We already know that there's an agenda that is live right now to make us look inferior, to make us look weak, to make us look uneducated, to make us look unqualified, to make us look disrespectful, to make our kids look a certain way. We the only ones getting COVID. Like, there's an agenda that is live right now, right? And it's been live. And at the end of the day, first of all, we got to focus on us first. But two, we got to stop giving folks the ammo. That's the main thing. Like, we got to stop giving folks the ammo, and we got to get down to the root of these issues. This was a grown woman. There's something going on at the foundation that causes a grown woman to get up on a couch in a restaurant and twerk on some glass like she at the strip club somewhere. There's something foundationally off that causes that. And I'm not going, this is not a female attack show. I'm gonna jump on the brothers too. The brothers out here acting like some clowns. There's something that is going on foundationally with these black men out here. This is why the same reason the ladies be on the show talking about they can't find no decent men. Yeah, because it's a whole bunch of these cats that ain't decent. Because there's something foundationally going on with these men that's causing them to be acting clowns out here. And I see it, Los, you see it, we all see it. So at the end of the day, we gotta, as they say, we gotta call a spade a spade. Like there's a problem here. And it's like, it don't have nothing to do with no other races. It don't have nothing to do with that. We got some internal garbage going on and we don't know how to address that.
I agree and I don't agree. And the part I don't agree about is that sometimes other races don't have no influence on the systemic oppression that happens to our people as far as opportunities, as far as alcohol on the corners. Now, you still have the power of choice to partake in what you partake in. Right. You still have that free will of the choice. But what I will say is systemic oppression is real. The Willie Lynch syndrome, the black codes are still in effect. That is real from the PTSD that we have today. So I won't say that other cultures don't have an effect or impact on us or how we live or how we move. So I agree with that. No,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Because we wouldn't have the PTSD that we have today from slavery if other cultures didn't have that impact upon us. So I'm not going to give that a pass. But at the same time, I 100% agree with we still have to be accountable for our choices. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you bring up other people, it feels like it's a deflection of other races or other things. And no, I'm not saying that. Yes, they can influence things or whatever else, but I'm still accountable for how I handle myself, my free will, my free choice. But systemic oppression is absolutely, definitely real. It does make a difference. It does make an impact. It does. If you tell a child you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, eventually that child's going to grow up believing that, right? So the way the system has worked, it has oppressed us over and over again to, maybe that's what the part that you're talking about that's wrong, that's foundationally wrong. How we've been framed, how we've been pictured, how we've been talked about, how we've been robbed has sunk so far into our DNA, so far into our culture, where you see the people who have and you're the have not. Eventually you're going to be one of the people that want to have the have. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want the good life. You're going to want the good things. That's going to seep into your soul. Oprah did a show, right? And she called it the brown and blue color test. And when she did that, she took every race, right? And they divided them by the color of their eyes. The brown people got treated with got great treatment, and the people who had blue eyes or whatever else called it the bad treatment or whatever else. And once they realized that these people were getting treated differently, an uproar happened. Why? Because the influence of how you're treated does affect you. It does affect you. So when we're coming from a have-not spot, when we're coming from a situation of being oppressed and wanting something, you're going to do different things. Now, for the young lady that was in the store or in the restaurant twerking, absolutely wrong. Okay, you didn't know the first time. Cool. He told you again. He told you a third time. Now, I am going to hold up my brother accountable for cussing at her because he didn't have to cuss. You don't have to cuss at nobody to get your point across to nobody. You cussing doesn't make your point more valid. It doesn't make your point more stronger. It doesn't change the principle of what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand the frustration of it as well, because I've asked you repeatedly. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying there's a way that we can present ourselves better. Because if you say don't give them no pain, if I'm sitting here cussing you out, then that's pain. That's pain. Because anybody can take that same scenario, take that same clip and be like, look how black men talk to their women. Look how black women respond to their men. That's pain. That's ammo. We're giving them bullets to the gun. So I am going to hold my brother accountable for giving him the bullet for someone else from another race to say, look at how black men talk to their women. Because it's that simple. It's that easy. It's not the fact that the situation happened. It's the tea and why it's viral. It's the tea. And everybody wants the tea. You see what I'm saying? So when people take a certain type of tea and then they apply it to everyone to make it seem like everyone's that way, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that from that standpoint. But I agree with you about the villages are being destroyed, about neighbors are being destroyed. We got some punk ass men not being men. At one point in time, I fall in the category because I'm not perfect. So I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm all high and mighty and I got it all together. You know what I mean? We have to be accountable. And Quay, we have to hold our brothers accountable. That's what the show's for. Chloe, Tristina, Ashley, Tosh, Nicole, they have to hold their women accountable. And then once we start holding each other accountable, we can come together to figure out how we can hold each other accountable together to make this work together. You know what I'm saying? To get back to the essence of what it is really all about, which is love and respect for yourself and for the next person next to you.
Right. And I think that's the key, man. Like I said, this situation, when you break it down to, you know, to the bare studs in this situation, there, like I said, for me, there's still this conflict between us. And we saw this conflict kind of play out in this situation. You know, like I said, you got this brother trying to, you know, thinking he doing something for the people. You know, then the sister come in, she basically disrespecting what my man trying to do for the people. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, they they going back and forth basically. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, let's say there's conflict between the two. And he like, hey, you know what I'm saying, let me school you real quick. And she like, hey, whatever, I don't care about your leather couch. I'm about to get this twerk on. And like I said, you got this conflict, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, foundationally, as a people, like I said, we got to work on improving this relationship that exists between the two of us, the black man and the black woman. Because that's where it all comes back to for me. And that's the only way that the trajectory is going to be changed. And that's the only way that we can get back to essentially how we used to do things. Like I said, this is a newer development, if you will, for black folks. Like I said, we were a lot more together when times were harder than we are now. We got access to way more resources and capital and opportunities and things of that nature. And it's like it's harder to make it happen than it was back then when they had less. So yeah, man, it just.
What you about to say, Josh?
I was just gonna say, so I mean, like, where do we even think the disconnect is though? Because even when you try to have like basic standards and standing up for yourself, like I remember being at like, I don't know, maybe a Chris Brown concert, or it may have even been Jeezy. I don't remember, but I just remember the people next to me were smoking cigarettes, and we're indoors. That's first off. Secondly, I can't breathe. Like, and I was nice about it. I was like, do you mind putting that cigarette out? Like, you know, it's no smoking in indoors, and like I can't. Bitch, I smoke my cigarette. Everybody in here smoking. Like, it's just like you can't even ask for basic. And his woman who was with him encouraged his fuck shit.
Man.
You don't say nothing to my man.
But there's a show, but I think that disconnect comes with, again, that whole thing of them boosting up being as ratchet as I could possibly be. And I think that's where it comes from. Like, a lot of it comes to, again, what Donkey you said, the village. You know, the fact of the matter is that most of us grew up with Big Mama, or had a Big Mama, had an auntie, had everybody who was around you, who was supporting you, who was feeding into you and not taking out of you. And I think nowadays is different. Nowadays it seems like a lot of parents are not parenting their kids. A lot of parents are not giving the kids the seeds to grow, to become great women and have class. The fact of the matter, when you think about it, is nowadays a lot of women want to be naked, but there's a way we could be sexy and be classy at the same time. You don't have to show everything to everybody, truth be told. And so I feel like the part of the problem is that people are not feeding into the children like we should at a young age, to try to make these kids grow up too fast before their age. If you start there.
Hey, I got a question. Do y'all think part of the problem came from, and this is just me, maybe just possibly going too deep, when we were slaves and slaves being taken from each other and the house nigga versus the field nigga? Do y'all think that those effects right now, that those situations affect us right now? Mothers being stripped from their children, survival of the fittest mode, fuck it, I gotta get it. You know what I mean? I gotta get it on my own. You know what I mean? Versus someone who's already got it. You know, do you think the division comes from the root of slavery during that time frame? And how we were treated and how we were divided? Because I think Quay brought up something about segregation, because at one point when we had segregation and we were all having to work together, we created Black Wall Street. We created our own. And we had working businesses, and we had respect, and we had more of a family, and we had more of a neighborhood. We had more of a village, because Black Wall Street was its own village. And then when we integrated, do you think that helped create the monster that we have today?
Yeah, sometimes I think that, and I know this is going to be a radical statement, but sometimes I think that integration was more damaging to us than slavery in a lot of
I
ways.
agree.
Because
I
they
agree.
took a lot from us when we integrated, and they instituted a lot against us when we integrated. They were able to, like you said, basically slavery 2.0. They were able to pull the black men out of the homes again, but this time doing it under the disguise of, we want to give you welfare, mom, we want to give you money, we want to give you WIC,
Child
we
support and
want
all
to do
that.
this, we want to do that, but you can't have a man in the house, like you can't. Then they pit the men against the women with friend of the poor, and pitting women against men by, and I hate to say it, like I love to see the fact that black women are owning their own businesses and stepping, like I think it's great. But at the same time, look at that though, because they make it a lot easier for black women to go out and get loans and assistance for business. Still not saying that it's a cakewalk, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of what's the resources I'm trying to say for black women. When a black woman wants to, start a business, and the more you put that divide or that space between where a black woman is and a black man is, the harder it's going to be for them to come together as a unit and have a family. Like the backbone of the Black Wall Streets and what made those communities so powerful was they were based off the backs of black families. Like the structure was black families, strong black families, and everybody was on the same, mindset. Everybody had the same mindset. They stuck together. They took care of each other. Like once they were able to divide up the black family, it weakened our structure. It really weakened our communities. So I think that honestly, yes, but I would actually say integration did the job that slavery didn't do. It's like it finished it. Like, slavery started and the integration finished it. And I think that really was highly destructive to us as a community.
So my question is, how do we get back to that? Because we could talk about it, but now it's time. We know there's an issue, and now it's time to figure out how to fix it. And I was just thinking about when you talk about integration and just that, Black Wall Street. Even like my family, came from Georgia, and then everybody came to my who moved up to Philadelphia from my mom's side. They all stayed in one house. So if you move from the fields of Philly, from Georgia to Philly, you stayed at my cousin's house or my aunt's house, and everybody stayed together until they was able to get their own and get sound whatever. That does not happen hardly anymore. A lot if you look at even the fact that, you look at, then I'm gonna go with the white folk or people, other ethnicities. They don't push their kids out the house 18. They make sure their kids are good. And a lot of times for us, you hear this a lot. Oh, they 18, they got to go. I don't care, but they got to get hell out of here. And we don't set our kids up in the right way because they're like, oh, they're 18, they got to go,
Very good.
So it's a combination of things that we have to do differently that we do need to take from other cultures too.
That's a great point, because you have families that stay together, buy a house together. Everyone lives in that house, and then once the house is set up, I thought Quay made this point. Quay talked about this on another show that we talked about before when we brought up businesses, and then they'll buy that home, and then they'll move into the next home all together to buy the next home to continue this process, so on and so forth. Me and Ashley, we've seen buses come in, tour the neighborhood to buy a property or buy an apartment complex to take over. Say that one more time.
Tell them the type of buses.
Asian, because we live in Koreatown. Asian buses, they'll come in, busloads, buy apartments, buy businesses, and set up a monopoly on that shop or whatever else it is, and then move on and move so forth and so forth, while we're like, get out, start over. And then sometimes we're starting from trying to fix the credit out of mama's name, trying to fix this and trying to fix that, and we're not properly prepared to be able to handle what the systemic or the system of the world is going to press us with. And so now, instead of us building from family, we're starting over from scratch. It's like 18, start from scratch. 18, start from scratch, instead of building upon the building blocks that was already supposed to be built.
Yeah, but I think the first step, just to respond to Nina, the first step is we gotta want to. So that's the first step. The second step is we got to stop being selfish. Yep, a lot of the things that Black folks deal with today is because a lot of things have been withheld from us, right? So we have naturally become selfish. So we don't really want to share. So when you talk about the concept of us all staying up in the house so we can stack this money and be building while we ain't doing that. I want my own house because see, I'm not, as a Black person, I'm not used to having, right? So now that I done finally got this house, I ain't trying to share it with nobody. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing that we do with the kids. To your point of kicking kids out at 18, yeah, we do that a lot because see, I want my house. I want my house back. I don't want you in my house past 18. Cause see, I want my house back. I want, you know, we hear the jokes. You know, I want to be able to walk around with your mama naked. You know, I need y'all to get on up out the house. So see, we hear this stuff all the time, but what we not realizing is you almost are setting that kid up to fail sometimes because at 18. I don't care what nobody say. I know they want to technically call you an adult, but you ain't no adult at 18. You ain't got no idea what's going on. You probably just dealing with some type of college, you know, the debt that's already swole up in your account. Like you coming out at a deficit anyway. So you don't know what you're doing at no 18 years old. Right. And especially the world we live in now, 18, you immature at that point. So you really ain't got no idea. So when we think about these things, the first step is one, we gotta want to. The second step is two, we gotta stop being selfish. Like that's the main piece of it. We gotta stop being selfish.
Go.
And like I said, I mean, I hate to say it, but I have to tie this, unfortunately, and I don't want to keep dragging this horse, but I gotta tie this back to that restaurant. That thing was selfish. Yep. At the end of the day, old girl who hopped up on that couch, she was being selfish. That's really all it was because she wanted that attention. She wanted to show off. She didn't care who it was affecting. She didn't care how it was affecting that owner. She did not care. She wanted to be selfish. She wanted that attention and she wanted to show off. Yep. And at the end of the day, it hurt my man's feelings. So that's what we saw. Yep. And we got to stop that. We gotta stop bucking each other. Like we not the problem. Like I said, at the end of the day, I was hurt for the brother, to be honest with you. It's not even my business. And I was hurt for the brother because it's like that's almost like when your mama done cleaned the house up. She done mopped the floor, she done did her spick and span, got it smelling good in that joint. Then you walk up in there from outside playing with some old muddy shoes on. How you think your mama feel?
She gonna whoop your butt.
You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing as your mama. I know we all got it. Got somebody in the family got that white room in the house, right? That white living room. Don't want nobody go in that white living room because she keep that thing looking good. She keep it spotless, and then you walk up in there with some old sucker or something, some candy, and get some candy on that white couch. Your mama feelings be hurt because she like this the nice room in the house, and you gonna come here and just disrespect the room, just being selfish because you just wanted to be in here, just doing what you do. Like that's how that brother felt at that restaurant, man. And that's what we saw on that video.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes, and that's the last thing I'm gonna say on that video. Drunk people are not thinking logically. May not be thinking. It could literally be this is just where my head is. Comment. Somebody asked, "What level of respect did you think they deserve?" I said,
that was Peter. I think that was Peter.
If you ask someone how much someone deserved, you have people in jail depending on how they responded to a drunk female. So all I'm saying is when you have alcohol involved and there's a woman, whether you're responding disrespectfully with verbal or whether you're responding in any situation, just be mindful of a person under the influence, just how you come at it. But I wanted to respond to something Tristina said. You made a great point because you distinguished something about the Black community regarding putting their out, and that's something I would want to piggyback off of Quay, because Quay, that's me going back to that other community thing, right? Tasha said something about us coming back like to the same problem, this Black woman, Black man thing, right? And I think sometimes in our community, not looking to see what's universal versus what's unique to us, like the example Tristina brought up, is why we keep it up at these same conversations. A good example of that is in business, right? Because I'm a business owner. One of the companies I own is a marketing agency. So I have a conversation about Black businesses always want a discount because you're Black, and this conversation
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And I sat them down and I said, okay, because most of my clientele are not Black, the people who that are not Black, and I observe how their consumers treat them, and I understand consumer psychology, I can sit here and tell you that your business that you're gonna get heckled. That's why at a swap meet you have more negotiating power than at the Whole Foods. If you present the owner in front of you, that is going to happen. So this is something that's universal that everyone experiences. Now the reason we see it so heavy here isn't because it's because of funding. We don't have that interface. We don't have that professional interface. So 9 times out of 10 you're talking to the owner. Anybody talking to the owner is more likely to heckle or ask for a discount. That's a universal thing. And sometimes I think with many things that we talk about, we fail to look outside because we're just trying to talk about Black people. And then I wonder why we're still having the same conversation. Because if we would have looked out and noticed, maybe not at the same rate, but I see that here too. Or I see white women becoming maybe less classier. Their single mother rates are going up exponentially. Or I'm noticing this there as well. Could it be an economic foundation that's triggering things in different ways? Because we're affected by some of the same things affecting them. It affects us differently sometimes, but with technology, with AI, the way that jobs are being replaced by different components, where currency is right now, the pandemic, we start looking at things and it's like, you have to see what's unique to us versus something that, because if you don't look and say, okay, they're heckled too, when they sit there at the booth at the swap meet, doesn't matter if they're white, Asian, if they say it's 15, you could pull out 2 5s and see if that's what they can deal with because the owner's right there. But if you don't even look out to see that they have that problem as well, I tell them all my white clients, you see their DMs is constantly white people asking them for a discount. People with a sob story. Oh, I'm homeless. My child, I really need this. Every day, you just see buku messages of their own people heckling them, asking for a discount, this, that, and the third, which of course we ignore all of them. But if you don't even look outside to see that somebody else is having a similar problem, you don't even know that foundationally it's not about your Blackness. Now, there are some things unique to our Blackness, but because I feel like we look for everything in our Blackness, we can't pinpoint the answer. And then 5 decades from now, we're still talking about this Black man, Black woman thing, or we're still talking about Black businesses versus this business, Because even having conversations sometimes provides that ammo. Because sometimes white people don't even be knowing something's going on until we tell them. I'm pretty sure half the white people that find out about the girl twerk and found out from a Black person reposting it.
I feel you.
But we're also, by highlighting the negative minority, which I claim this a minority, that's just an opinion, not fact. But even by highlighting them and letting those weakest links be such a highlight moment, we're also giving them the ammo.
I feel what you're saying. Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying. No doubt. I feel what you're saying. And Peter, let me let you go ahead, Peter. You got that look on your face, man. Go ahead and mute yourself.
Go, Pete, go.
All right, now I'm just listening. I just got home from work or whatever, working a TV show. So I missed out on the last maybe 10, 15 minutes. So I'm just tuning in.
Don't come over here talking about no TV show, man. You look like you was about to go in, man. Go and get it off your chest, Peter.
Little quick plug, Quay.
Well, I feel like for the most part, we got to take a real good look at the home because it all starts at the home. Just like what you're saying, we got to be less selfish. We can't just push our kids out at 18 and then just expect them to be adults or anything like that. Because you look at some white families and stuff like that, like you're saying, I know some white girls that still stay at home and they're 34 years old. It's like, when do they grow up? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes their parents just pass down their house to them. And they pass down that generational wealth.
Right.
So, we got to quit doing that. And then I also feel like we need more experiences, just with money and such, because I remember whenever I used to work in the oil field, right? And also a coal mine, I made $75,000 one year. And that might not be a lot, but for a person in South Dakota that was happy whenever they got $10 an hour or something, working 40 hours a week, I was practically rich. And I have no idea what the hell happened to all that money. I spent it all pretty much as soon as it came in.
Man, I was just about to ask you, tell you, let me hold $30. You don't lost where the money at, Pete?
Right.
Where the money at, kiddo? Better yet, we hungry, man. Why don't you shoot us to the steak joint if you got it like that, man?
Right.
No, man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming on here. Let me check in with Nicole real quick. She's been quiet over here.
I don't know what you're talking about, Quay.
You about to start playing. You see how you do? You about to start playing.
I'm not. What's the question?
Ain't no question. I'm just checking in with you. You know, we gonna run around the panel real quick. Hey, Los, go ahead and run around the panel, man. Get the closeouts, man, and we get ready to wrap, brother.
Ash, you want to go first? Closing remarks? Any closing statements?
Unmute. She muted.
You're muted. Just unmute yourself.
Does my audio sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds better now.
Okay, my bad. It sounds weird on my end. I just wanted to say this was a fire conversation. I think all these diverse opinions are what really, you have great dialogue because you need all the different opinions. You need that. You need the person who's really passionate. It's like, this is what, we got to do for my people. You need the objective person as well. You need somebody a little jaded too. Like, you need all the little components to make the bigger picture, because it's never just one thing. I mean, our issues are very diverse, so it takes a diverse approach. I love this conversation. I love that y'all create the platform for people to have these conversations, to agree and disagree respectfully. Like, I love this dialogue. It's my first time coming on the live with you too, so
yeah,
it's pretty dope. Thank you for letting me on.
I appreciate you joining. Appreciate your input as well.
Pete, you got any closing statements?
I feel like we gotta figure out a way how to get past this, this media paintbrush. Just because, me growing up, I grew up in South Dakota, a little bit of Wyoming too, but I don't know how many times my friends, like my white friends, were like, Pete, I really hate Black people, but I really like you. And to tell you the truth, I didn't even know how to respond. No matter how many times I heard that, I didn't even know what to say. But okay, thank you, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Just that media paintbrush, it just paints us in such a bad light that sometimes it's I can't remember who said it earlier, but I mean, if you keep on listening to the words over and over again, then eventually, if you're not strong enough, then you're going to act out those words.
Yep. Facts. No, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you joining the show, man. Even though you was late.
Like I said, I was at work.
I'm just messing with you, man. Who's next? Who next? Go ahead, Los.
Nicole, what you got for us?
It was definitely an interesting dialogue, diverse opinion for sure. In terms of the topic, I mean, I do agree with Chloe that we do have to raise up a standard. I think people are going to respond to what you allow them to. So, at least from my perspective, I do agree with that. Speaking from my generation, which is difficult. So, yep, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. And you're always welcome on the show. We really appreciate your input when you input. Tosh, what you got for us? Welcome back, Tasha. She turned around like
Tasha done dozed off. Tasha, what's going on?
I was not dozed off. I was on my phone.
Tasha was over there on TikTok. She was on TikTok.
No, I'm tired of TikTok, but I was on my phone. I was on Instagram. Thank you. My closing thoughts are just that I enjoyed the dialogue. I enjoyed hearing all of the different perspectives, and it just feels good to have been amongst conscious people who, want to see us be better as a people and as a whole, and who can be objective and who don't always have to agree but can still be kind.
So, thank you. Hey.
Oh, and happy birthday to me. It is my birthday officially.
Hey, happy birthday.
It's your birthday.
Yes.
Just don't twerk on any couches now. Don't twerk on any couches now.
I don't want no
JK.
cleaning fee, no bills, no extra bills. Unless you're throwing me some dollar bills, I will not be standing and twerking on a thing. Okay.
Miss Price, what you got for us?
I can't do that.
You know what? Really, I just kind of wanted to. I mean, I feel like I've been pretty thorough about my point. But yeah, no, I think I'm always going to come from the perspective of looking internally
Okay.
first, just simply because there's going to be very little, unfortunately, that we're going to be able to do to affect the outside opinions, especially because we have the media hedged against us. Like we have, this is the narrative that they're pushing. And it's going to be really hard to change that. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm simply saying it's going to be very difficult. So I always come from this perspective of let's try to fix what's going on with us. I mean, because even though what's going on in other cultures, there's a trickle effect, there's a ripple effect. It does affect us. I'm not saying it doesn't. But if we can become strong within ourselves, then they can spin up whatever narrative they want to spin. But we as a community will stand for each other and we will stand for ourselves.
Right.
And this ain't on no discriminatory stuff, because y'all already know I don't do that. Like, I don't have a problem with anybody ethnicity. I don't have a problem with whomever you are. But I do want to speak to my people, though, because this is my people. Like, you know, this is our community. And I feel like we don't have enough outlets as it is just for us.
Right.
So I think that it's nice. This show definitely gives us a platform. It's a way for us to kind of, you know, we always, you know, kind of joke around and say, this is our couch. Like, this is our moment on the couch. You know, for the moment on the couch that a lot of us are not going to get otherwise. This is our moment. So I appreciate having diverse opinions and different people on the show, and we need all of those perspectives. Because I think the main thing that's going to help, I know, Nina, you asked about like, what's the solution? Obviously, there's no, you know, one size fits all solution, but I think accountability is a big piece of that. And I think if we can finally just own our stuff, like get to the point where we really are just honest and own our stuff and own the pieces that are ours. Now a lot of stuff gets put on us, but then there are pieces of this that they are ours and we have to be accountable for them. There's some things that we need to take accountability for, own it, and then maybe we can start to repair it.
Oh, I think Carlos might have froze up. Go ahead, Nina.
Oh, I just say I love the show. So I'll be on it so much. I'm like, some weekends I'm like, I am not going on the panel. I'm just here to listen. It's like, oh, I gotta jump on. I gotta jump on.
You know you coming on.
I'm like, I gotta jump on. But a lot of times it's because, like I said, like a lot of people have said, there's very few outlets where we could talk about our issues with outlets and show that as Black people, we think so differently, and it's okay. A lot of times, if you think differently from the next person, they're gonna say, they look at you like, you know how we do, or some of our cousins do. And I'm just saying, it's good. It's a good outlet to have. That's why I do share it in several groups I'm in, people who are more conscious and whatnot, because sometimes we don't get that, we don't celebrate it, and we just sometimes we actually downplay it, and it's not a good thing. So, but in regards to the topic, I think I've always come from a place of, there's an issue. Okay, what are the solutions to change this issue? And we have to constantly figure out how to change them, because we can complain all we want. Complaints don't do shit until we do a solution, until we actually get to that solution. Otherwise, we're gonna be complaining about this shit 30 years from now, from our grandkids. Well, I ain't got kids, but grandkids and everything else. So what are the solutions? You know, and I agree. We have to be accountable for ourselves. You could blame the media. You can blame everybody else who's giving them the content.
Right.
We are. Right. That's all I'm gonna say.
Quay, what you got for us, good sir?
You know, man, just a quick closeout, man. Once again, I appreciate everybody joining the show. Our new joiners, Ashley, Tasha, that's the newcomers to the show. I appreciate y'all coming out. Like I said, once again, I always love these conversations to be able to have this dialogue. You know, to Nina's point, like folks we just don't be having these. Well, yeah, we just don't be having these conversations. Like I said, we need to have them. And at the end of the day, well, I said, we have these issues that exist. And I said, we got to talk them through. And I said, it involves men and involves women, to get both sides of the perspectives that is tied, you know, to those particular situations. But just in general, I just want to say this, you know, To my people, I feel like we just got to get back to being clean. Like, I just think that we don't prioritize how we carry ourselves anymore. I don't feel like we prioritize what we put out into the universe. I don't feel like we prioritize the relationships between, each other. Like, we just don't. And I feel like we just have lost sight of that. And I feel like we see that play out in these situations that we keep seeing that go viral. Like, we see that play out in these posts. Just touching on something real quick, then I'm gonna be done with it. Ashley made a point earlier where she was just saying that WAP, like, it ain't hot like that. And I remember on a previous show, like, the men and women literally was bucking about this song. The women was saying the men was hating and being, hating on the women and all this. And we like the song. The song just ain't hot like that. So for, to hear Ashley say the song ain't hot, and I've heard some of the other women say the song ain't hot, but I'm like, man, we was just bucking about that the other show.
Yeah, they were. We were fighting that one, Quay.
Yeah, so like there's just this conflict there, but it's like at the end of the day, when you get to a certain level, a lot of those things no longer are hot. You know what I'm saying? Back when you was younger, yeah, you might have did some old nonsense, had a couple drinks. Somebody might have seen you up on a couch. But when you get to a certain age, that's not popping no more. We ain't doing that no more, right? You carrying yourself differently. Yeah, like Tasha said, she ain't even running, throw no heels on no more. As you get older and you get more mature, stuff change, right? I can't, me and Los, saying we ain't gonna be at the dynasty getting it in like we was back in the day. Like, we old out here. It don't work like that no more.
That legend.
Ashley, get your boy, Ashley, get your boy. But no, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just glad everybody came on the show. I appreciate everybody giving their input. And like I said, once again, I feel like this was a good show. Go ahead, Los, do your thing, man.
Closing remarks. First and foremost, is Black the new Ratchet? No. We only came up with that statement because we knew it would be triggering for you guys to want to tune in and watch the show. Never let someone else put a label on you or define who you are. At the same time, you're accountable for what you are and what you do. Because Quay brought up a point. Every time that you walk out your house and people see you, you're representing your brand. How you carry yourself, what you wear will be how people decide to judge you off of who you're being in those different type of moments. There's nothing wrong with twerking, but there's a time and a place for everything. And if you don't want to abide by the standards of that time and place, then you shouldn't be mad at someone checking you. But at the same time, there's a way about going about it. We have a responsibility of how we talk to our Black women, right? There are better examples of how to talk to somebody, right? And look, I'm being honest, I have flaws, so I don't want to make it seem like, oh, no, I got to work on this too. So by me being open and being vulnerable and showing my closet about the work that I need to do, I'm able to say, hey, as men, as a culture, we have to be able to do a better job in how we express ourselves to our women. Because I got flaws and I got to work on it. I'm getting some books. I'm reading. I got this book right now called The Way to Being a Superior Man by David Jerome Dieter. It's somewhere in here. We could talk about that one day, Quay. I'll get you a copy of the book as well. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with getting tools to help yourself to improve. To Chloe's point, there's a standard for our culture, and we have to improve. We have to do better as a people. You know what I mean? We have to be accountable as a people. We have to pass down things to our lineage, to our futures. And just because, what was passed down to you was wrong or messed up isn't an excuse for you not to want to do better, to pass down something better for the future, to have a better opportunity that you didn't get. That is your responsibility. So in this lifespan, you're born, you die. The third thing is, what do you do in the meantime? What are you doing during the meantime of the gift that God gave you? You know what I mean? How do you handle that gift? How do you cherish that gift? To Ashley's point, we all have to be accountable for how we talk. We all have to be accountable for the standard of how we treat women as men, and women how we respond to men. in that conversation, in that dialogue, and how we have to improve and how we have to do better in that dialogue. Once again, I'm flawed, you know what I mean? So I'm working on that. So I challenge you guys as I challenge myself to continue to work on that, to continue to get better on that, to continue to come on the show. I want to thank all the guests for coming on the show because everyone made an amazing point. Not one of us is more right than the other person, but yet if we could take all these little different gems that everyone dropped on this panel, from Kwesi, from Tristina, from Chloe, from Peter, from Ash, from Nicole to Tosh, if we can all just take little small pieces and put this beautiful puzzle together, this is how we make life better. This is how we start to apply the change. To Tristina's point, how do we stop just talking about it and start living it? How do we start applying it into our daily lives? So once we start getting more books, getting more tools, educating ourselves, that we can start making better decisions instead of just always being. We went to Landmark. When I went to Landmark, they call this thing about being on the court and off the court. It's easy to say what somebody should be doing on the court. Oh, he should have made that shot. Oh, how could he mess up? How could he do that? But you're in the crowd. You know what I mean? You're not the person actually on the court trying to make the difference. So I need you to get off not just be on the live with us, but I need you to start taking the information and start applying it into your life, to start looking in the mirror, to start seeing your own flaws, to start seeing the things that you could do better, to start saying, hey, how can I implement these things? How can I support Black businesses? How can I understand the standards? How can I raise the standard and be beyond the standard and live the standard? You know what I mean? And so for me, I think that's what this show is all about. We're not going to let society tell us who we are. We dictate who we are because we are the way. They're following us. How can someone follow us, tell us who we are? So we have to continue to not allow someone to use a paintbrush to paint all of us when we are all unique and beautiful and individuals that God created that has a gift. Let's just not waste that gift. Let's walk in our purpose. And I think that's what we forgot. To wrap up what Quay's point was, living in your purpose. Walking within your purpose and being true to it. Don't get sidetracked by the BS because that's how you go down the wrong lane. But when you are focused and you're living in your purpose and you're living in your truth, then when the wind blows, your tree won't fall over because you're deeply rooted in yourself and who you are. Because we all have our own traumas, we all have our own self-afflictions, but when you start working on you and you start doing the personal work, you start getting the counseling, you start reading the books, and you start to grow deeper roots, you can stand tall in who you are. And I think we need to do that more as a culture. And I think that we need to start loving each other, on each other more. And I think I'm proud of the brother for what he did. I just think the brother could have did it in a better fashion, personally. And at the same time, I think one of the sister's friends could have checked her and said, hey, sis, nah, this ain't it. He already told us. We good. You don't even need to do that. Or, hey, it's time to go. Since you don't know how to act right now, it's time for us to go. Because what we won't do is allow you to allow someone else to view us in a light that we're not. So that's our show. We love you guys. Thank y'all for coming out. Bring a friend. Join the panel. You're more than welcome to express your opinion because your opinion is just as powerful as our opinion. I would like to see some diversity up here. I would like to see some other races up here. I would like to see some other people up here just giving their opinion. I love the panel who's on here, so y'all keep coming too. I'm not saying it like that, but I'm just saying, it would be nice to see some other people from the crayon box in this conversation to say what their viewpoints are and how they see things. Because I was walking with my friend Alon, he said this, King, I want to apologize to you. And Alon is Jewish, right? He says, I want to apologize to you, but I feel like I'll be disrespecting you by telling you sorry because I'll never go through what you go through on a daily basis because I was born a color that I never asked to be born. And before I said anything, I had to sit with that because he didn't ask to be born white. He didn't ask to have these privileges. He said, how can we work on this together to start creating a change? So don't be so closed-minded to where you can't work with someone else outside of your race to make the changes that you want because it takes every single color of the rainbow to make a beautiful picture. That's our show today. I'm your host, King Jaquel Martin, with my co-host, Mr. Quay Price. And this is our lovely panel.
All right, now once again, we appreciate everybody coming out. Like I said, shout out to Nina, Chloe, Peter, Ashley, Nicole, Tasha. We appreciate y'all joining the show. This is Look in the Mirror, and we will catch you guys live next Thursday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. And that's our show for the night. So everybody have an awesome night.
Shout out to the Lakers. You know what time it is. AD signed 5 years, baby. We're going back to the gym. Ah! 5 years, baby. LeBron signed the
Night.
We on our way back.
We'll catch y'all later. Take it easy.